untuk siapa yang belum subscribe Galeri Kereta, boleh klik button kat bawah subscribe, dan kita jumpa lagi di next episode untuk kita apa lagi proses untuk KA30 ni. Okay, see you, bye bye. Assalamualaikum.
LamboPlace.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome to the Trumpet International Racing E-Series. Tyres round 1 is going to happen at the Hockenheim Ring, a legendary track in the Baden-Württemberg region of Germany. I'm just about the most excited I've been in a long time for this race. It's going to be absolutely epic. My name is Max Palmer, and with me in the studio is Inche Budi. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite fine today, Max, and it's a very exciting race tonight we have.
Absolutely. One of the fastest tracks I think we're going to go to on the calendar for this season. A lot of straight line speed and a lot of action. We've got the pro race coming right up after this, and later on we will have the AM race in the wonderful TCR cars later on in the program. But for now, let's introduce the event for all of the gang here watching us. Thank you so much for joining us for this broadcast. But this is the Trumpet International Racing E-Series, produced by Trumpet, Adrenaline Impact and Vertex Esports. Thanks so much to all of our sponsors there. 10,000 ringgit prize pool on offer for the championship this time around. 2 categories, Pro and Am, and it's going to be very exciting stuff. We've got the Porsche GT3 cars. So it's a Porsche one-make race with a difference using full house GT3 specification machinery, and also we do have the TCR cars, which is going to be one of, I think, some of the most exciting racing we're going to see.
That's going to be an epic race. More on or not, this is at the Hockenheim tonight. Hockenheim tonight.
Yes,
it's going to be another level of races that we can see.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's going to be very exciting stuff indeed. We've just seen the practice times there, and they're very, very close together, especially in the pro category. So it's going to be a lot of exciting action coming up. But of course, we have to thank our sponsors. Our main sponsor, LamboPlace. LamboPlace being an online shopping platform. Absolutely fantastic to have those guys on board. Also brought to you by Stratus and Excitix, along with our media partners Galeri Kereta, Drive Safe and Fast, organised by Trumpet, along with Adrenaline Impact and Vertex Esports. So this is absolutely a fantastic group of sponsors that we've had on board, and thank you so much to them for supporting our series.
Don't forget to mention, Max, we have our official gaming chair sponsors, which is from Toda.
These guys right here, and they have some fantastic seats there. We're on the Zohud model of Toda seats. They're great for just an all-round gaming chair, and we've worked out actually possibly a good option for sim rigs as well.
I would say it's
really
good. Yeah.
So thank you so much to Toda for being the official gaming chair partner for Adrenaline Impact and Vertex Esports for this season. But now, of course, we're going to have a quick look at the legendary track Hockenheim, formerly an 8-kilometer loop that went into the town of Hockenheim and out again through the forests of the Baden-Württemberg region. But now, of course, it's a little bit shorter than it used to be. No longer are cars driving through at 230 miles an hour, over 380 kilometers an hour, is what the Formula 1 cars used to do back in the day. Now it's a little bit shorter than that, a little bit more modern, but still very high-speed track with interesting corner arrangements.
I would say Hockenheim feels, when you drive there, you feels like it's like adik-beradik of Silverstone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It looks and feels like Silverstone actually.
Yeah. It's got the same mix of corners too. You have very high-speed corners, including the entry to the Mercedes-Benz arena, as well as you have the slower sections like the famous Motordrome section with all the fans there really cheering you on as you drive through. Even in the sim, it makes a big difference, I can tell you that much.
I would want to see how the TCR happened to be there.
Yes.
in the Motordrome section. That was going to be just
absolutely
good.
The other interesting feature of Hockenheim is that the track width changes quite a lot throughout the lap. The Motordrome section is one of the narrower sections in permanent racetrack use, but you've also got that super wide main straight as well.
Well, we can say that the Motordrome is narrower, but that is where the action comes. You know,
absolutely.
A lot of people who make mistake and a lot of overtaking happen in that section actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I mean, the start of the race is always very entertaining here at Hockenheim. So don't miss the starts of both the Pro and the Am race. Absolutely fantastic stuff indeed. Meanwhile, we're just getting a good old hi there from our pit lane reporter Umar Aziz, who's back in action this weekend doing a lot of good reporting work down there. And he's just saying there, the reports from the pits, they're a bit sad for McLaren this time around in the Formula 1, but they are excited for Mika and Iman Danish down there. They're cheering on the...
That was the two contenders that were fighting tonight, actually.
Absolutely, and of course, you can't ignore the fact that... Ibrahim there, sorry. Muhammad Ibrahim is very, very quick but just looking through the names there that are out there on track there, Avila Baha from Indonesia, very quick driver there, and you also have Kelvinder Singh Sidhu.
Avila Baha is the first time that we see here in an Impact, right?
Yeah.
And he do remarkable time, I would say.
Absolutely, and but I mean, even though it's the first time we've seen him here, he's very active in the Indonesian racing scene. So he's been going for quite some time there, and I think we've probably, I could be mistaken, but I think we did see him in the ASRF Nations Cup many months ago. So he's very, very quick. He was very quick there from memory. So it's going to be quite interesting indeed. So let's have a look at what these guys are racing for this time around. So the total prize pool for the Pro class, that's the race coming up very shortly. First place is going to get 3,000 ringgit. P2 getting 2,000 ringgit, and third place man in the championship will get 1,000 ringgit. A total of 6,000 ringgit up for grabs in Pro class.
For the AM class, the total prize pool is 4,000 ringgit, which is the P1 get 2,000 ringgit, and the P2 we got 1,200 ringgit, and the P3 will get 800 ringgit. This is the prize pool of the totals race for 6 races, right?
Yeah. So this is going to be the championship prize pool, of course. All the drivers will be basically fighting for the championship. I think it's fairly high for one, and so we have to thank again our sponsors for getting a fantastic amount out there. 3,000 ringgit, I think we're going to see a very fierce battle in Pro class. But AM class, the 2,000 ringgit for the first place, actually, you know, any podium position there, it's going to be a real fight around the track there.
So Omar says, Budis, let one prediction. Oh, it's gonna be hard. Everybody was eager to get that turn 1 actually.
Yeah.
So we are hoping the best for them. For Porsche 911 GT3 is actually gonna be, I would say, quite close.
Yeah.
For the TCR itself, it's also quite close.
Perhaps a bit too close.
The timing was actually, it's not that far between one and another.
Yeah, I mean, during the qualifying sessions, every single AM driver qualified with a 1:39. This is in the pre-season championship qualifying just to try and get a slot on the grid. Everyone has qualified in on pace and pace alone for this championship. 1 minute 39 seconds covers the entire grid. 25 drivers, all with the same second on the lap time. So you can imagine how close that's going to be.
Yeah. Even with different car, it's still close, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be close.
Absolutely. And the TCR guys, they've managed to do a fantastic job in iRacing, just as they have in real life, of BOPing the cars to within. Only a couple of tenths difference, and a lot of difference there. So we are just about to head on down to the qualifying session, and we're about to call all drivers in the pro category to head on down to qualifying, which will begin fairly soon. 13 minutes remaining on the clock over there, and we're gonna see if we can head on down to qualifying. So there you have it, the Hockenheim ring at Baden-Württemberg. 26 degrees Celsius, 58% humidity. Fantastic conditions for the race there. Again, 4.53 kilometers long. It's about half of what it originally was. I remember very faintly, way back in the day, we used to watch the Formula 1 races before 2002, before they truncated the track. And it was 6.5 kilometers at that point in the late 90s and early 2000s, when the screaming V10s used to go through the forest. But still, it is a very exciting track.
And it is a fast track, Max. You can see there's a lot of fast action section there in the Hockenheim ring, actually.
Yeah, now coming down around there, we're having a look at Iman Danish going out on his warm-up lap there. You can see the beautiful Hyperbulls livery of Iman Danish as he comes around the track there. Mika Hakimi also on their way out, but Muhammad Zikri, Muhammad Taki and Peter Kay, along with Simon Sanchez, are already out on their first timed lap. 15 minutes in qualifying, not a lot of time for these guys to try and get a quick lap out.
There we go. We are actually waiting for others contenders, others participants to come in and do the qualifying for tonight. There's actually around, I would say, 13, 12, 11 minutes left for the qualifying. And one lap, there will be 136 to 138, I guess.
Yeah. So you don't have that many chances there. I would think that with the tyre change to try and get some fresh rubber and perhaps a couple of adjustments in the car, the drivers will have basically 4 laps, maybe 5 laps if they try and stick the car out there and keep hot lapping. 5 clean attempts is about the maximum limit there. You can see that Iman Danish pushing very hard right now. Now, of course, we have a unique mode in iRacing where every driver has the track entirely to himself. This is the lone qualifying mode in iRacing, and it means that each driver has the optimum conditions to try and get the best lap time possible.
This is a problem in Hockenheim where everyone will try to get as close as they can to the curb.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is the sausage curb here is quite punishing, I would say.
Oh yeah, it's no joke around here. As you can see there, you see the little red or orange sausage curbs at the side of the track there. You can only use a certain amount of the curbs before you get onto that, and it's almost like hitting a sleeping policeman or a speed bump if you hit that, and you can really toss the car out all over the track there. Umar is there saying no sausage, only bratwurst.
Because when you try to get as fast as you can in this track, actually you need to use all of the track. That is really important in this track, actually.
Absolutely, every single inch counts around here, and you have to get the racing line just right, especially through the motordrome section here. You've got to use these curbs here. There's a tempting looking sausage curb on the outside of the corners. I don't think the Porsche guys will be using it that much, not as much as the final sausage curb that you saw Iman Danish go around there, but definitely the TCR cars will be very tempted to use that.
I would say, okay, for this car, they have a different kind of a physique, which this car is quite snappy on the oversteer side, and compared to the TCR is quite forgiving.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. You've got a lot more suspension stroke. The wheel can move around a lot more in the wheel well in a touring car. So, you can definitely see the drivers take advantage of that and really try and push through around the track there. But now we can see Iman Danish so far with 6 minutes gone. Oh, just about to mention that, but Shami Azri's gone and done a 136.90 second lap there. Shami Azri now in first position, followed by Iman Danish, Avila Baha in third, and Peter Key in fourth position. Kavinder Singh in fifth, Zikri in sixth, Mika Hakimi in seventh place, Taki in eighth, followed by Simon Sanchez and Pagvinder Singh. A couple of the really quick drivers not yet out on track.
They are waiting for something.
Yeah.
Okay, for this car, you have your own setup. You have your own tune, so that you can use it for throughout the whole race. And this is 1 hour races where the pit stop management is gonna be a strategy.
Yeah.
It's not just race and no, you have to go to pit stop.
Absolutely. So the other beautiful thing about iRacing is, of course, the ability to get your liveries out there on track with the Trading Paints app. And we can see here Kavinder Singh, I do apologize, he's racing with the Hyperbulls team, and you can see he's repping the new Hyperbulls livery right now. That wonderful teal color really sets that Porsche off.
I would say that the teal color and the what we call that the chrome, chromatic color is really good.
Oh, right. So we just got word there from the race director. In fact, Ibrahim unfortunately could not make it this time around. He has a prior commitment, so he wouldn't be able to join us this evening. I'm sure we'll be able to see him from round two. Fiercely quick competitor there, so hopefully we'll be able to see him in the next round. But right now we see Shami Azri in first position still. A couple of the drivers very close there. We did see quite 2 or 3 136s in practice before the start of broadcast, so it's going to be interesting to see how these guys get on with the lap. Right now, Kavinder Singh.
Will they be like tone down their pace just to be in the middle of the pack?
Well, it depends. I guess some drivers might decide to do that. The interesting thing, though, it works at some tracks where you can have that draft. You can sit in the pack and save a little bit of fuel, save your tires going through, because these cars are very draft dependent, as you call it. They've got a lot of slipstream effect. But around this track, I'm not too sure, simply because, well, we all know what turn 1 and turn 2 can be like at Hockenheim. So if I was in the position of Shami Azri or Avila Baha, as we're looking here, that beautiful orange and black liveried machine, I would be trying my hardest to get out there and push the car hard. Looks like Avila Baha, they're going into the pit lane to try and make some last minute adjustments there. 9 minutes passed there in this 15-minute race, 15-minute qualifying session. I do apologize. 6 minutes left. I think that's about 2 laps to go.
So here we have Afiq Fadlan, I think.
Yes.
It's Afar.
Yeah.
Well known as Afar, actually. He is one of the driver from Hyperbulls. Okay, tonight we have a team members from all around the teams, the crew. But we don't have the team championship for this round, I think.
Yeah, we don't have team championships for this season. It's all going to be all about the drivers there. But still, it is useful to be in a team, because you can always share your information between the 2 drivers there. You can also share your information with drivers in the AM class as well, because we've got Hyperbull members and members from a couple of other teams who are actually in the AM category. Of course, the pro guys can race and basically report back on the conditions of the track, the temperatures, how the car felt. Did it feel very slippery or did it feel very grippy? And really relay that information. So any amount of information gathering is a bonus when it comes to racing in league championships like this. So having another teammate could help as well. But of course we have guys like Jay Wong here. As you can see, his team handle is the Lonely Driver. He is representing the BIF community, in BIF being a nice Discord community full of fantastic races, mainly specializing in AC sort of Corsa competitions, of which we had some fantastic races and fantastic championships this year. And so now we've got Jay Wong, one of our champion drivers, heading into a different sim, into iRacing right now, and really pushing quite hard there. He's managed a 138.189 there on that last lap. 138.1, still very quick there. I think we might see some explosive racing there from Jay.
This might be one of his first attempt to change to iRacing, I guess.
But I mean, to qualify into pro on his first attempt in one of these championships, you have to say it's absolutely fantastic work there. And you can see a couple of the drivers will actually stop their laps early. If they know that they're unable to try and improve their lap times, they're going to stop and they're going to restart again, because it's probably quicker to do that than to actually come around back into the pits, get new tires and come back out again. This is Nevsky Chin there with that wonderful black and green car there going around the track there. His best is a 136.785. It looks like he's improved through the second sector. Let's see what he does there. 139.7. 138.7. I do apologize. He just lost out on improving his lap time there a little bit. Afiq Fadlan, meanwhile, he's the last one out on track at the moment. And it looks like he's improved on his second sector as well. Oh, just a little bit too fast going into the Bosch curve.
This is the problem with this car.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a lot of underbraking, and there's a lot of oversteering for these kind of cars.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, the setup. You have a real problem around this track because
when you are racing with GT3 kind of car and the back, what we call that, back mount engine.
Yeah.
You will have to be on control of the throttle.
Yeah.
And that is the most important part, I think.
Absolutely. So now we have, all the drivers have in fact finished their qualifying sessions there a little bit early there, which is nice because hopefully we might be able to bring them over into the race a little bit quicker, because of course at iRacing you are allowed to skip the session if everyone has agreed to lock in their lap times. So now, as we are waiting for the grid to form up, we'll have a look at the comment sections, and we see there SM Hobbyist Power Iman Jagjit Singh says, what tyre pressures are these cars running on? Well, it can vary quite widely actually. It's surprising talking to some of these drivers there. Some of them might be running 0.7 bar of tyre pressure, some of them over 1 bar of tyre pressure. So it could vary from anything like, what would that be?
It depends on the track condition also.
Yeah.
It depends on the track temperature.
Yeah.
It depends on how you race.
Yeah.
That will, that will affect all the tyre changes and so on.
So, I mean, we're seeing there, Umar is saying around 170 kph. That would be 1.7 bar for some of the drivers out there on track. I know some of the guys have been trying some super low tyre as well. Ami Faridian there. Hello guys, good luck. Rinduin Sim Racing. He's missing Sim Racing as well. Michael Hafiz, go, go, go. And also quite a few other drivers as well. The SM Hobbies giving a good shout out to AFA. AFAR Sim Racing is his chat. It is his Facebook page. A lot of these guys on Facebook will actually be live streaming the race from their point of view as well. So after the race, if you want to see how your favorite drivers have gone on, they do also have some in-car footage for you to watch after this broadcast.
And it's gonna be different. So Michael Hafiz say kami mahu drama. Oh, it depends on how they race.
Depends on what type of drama as well. Let's just put that out out of the way.
I told Max earlier, with TCR there no such thing as no drama. It will be a lot of drama.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 minute remaining in qualifying there. They're going to run the clock out there. No changes in position. So I think we see, I believe it's Shami Azri that's going to be on pole position for the first.
Yeah, followed by Iman Danic and then
Avila Bahar.
Avila Bahar, yeah.
So Avila Bahar in second, Iman Danic in third right now. So, I mean, it's going to be very competitive from the start of the race there. I think the first corner, Suds curve, is going to be very, very tricky because there's really only one racing line through there. When you have a first corner that only has one racing line through, I think, I guess the drivers are going to be very thankful that there is a bit of tarmac runoff at the exit there. There'll probably be a couple of drivers who'll take advantage of that.
I would say people are eager to go fast there.
Oh yeah.
People are too eager to go fast there over there. That's going to be a big difference.
So there we go. Let's have a look at the grid there. We have Shami Azri in pole position with Avila Baha in second. Iman Danish is in third with Peter Key in fourth. Following that in the third row of the grid we have Kelvinder Singh and Mohammad Zikri. And on the fourth row of the grid Mika Hakimi just a little bit behind Muhammad Taki there. So about 1.5 seconds covers the top 8. as it stands right now. Jay Wong, the lonely driver, is in 9th position. Bhagvinder Singh for RC Racing there in 10th place. Simon Sanchez in 11th, followed by Ayman Haziq in 12th. Nevsky Chin in 13th. Afiq Fadlan in 14th. And Mazdi Mardini, our last qualified driver, in 15th position. It'll be a rolling start. This time around, we will use a short warm-up procedure. So the cars won't come out of the pits and do an entire lap. They will actually grid up halfway around the lap, and they'll have a short period to try and warm up those tyres. So I think the tyres are actually going to be quite cold when they get to turn 1 as well. I predict it might get a little bit messy. What do you think?
That's going to be a tricky part of this starting line, I would say. You know, with cold tyres and high-speed turn, it's going to be hard for them, but let's see how it goes. We have Shami Azri on the first pole position, and followed by Avila Baha and Iman Danish.
Yes, right now we've got Peter Key there. We can see in 4th position there. It's going to be very difficult here. You can see how narrow the track is at the Motordrome section. Barely enough space for 2 cars to get past. So it's going to be super tricky to try and overtake going through here. But this has to be one of the most important overtaking points there, because it's the final overtaking point before the start-finish straight, really. So we're going to probably see a lot of action coming into that corner there. The final 2 corners, again, a couple of slippery spots there, a couple of let's just say tricky curbs, especially on the exit there. We can see the Porsche 911 safety car has gone into the pits, and it looks like Shami Azri is going to push the car very quickly from the start of the race there, coming down towards the start-finish line. It's green flag running right now, coming down towards turn 1, breaking through there. And Shami Azri manages to get through. Avila Baha in 2nd, Iman Danish in 3rd. They managed to keep their positions right now, coming through the corners there. Everyone's managed to get through turn 1. Bang goes my prediction. In any case there, we can see their cars going 3 wide there. That's Jay Wong between Simon Sanchez and Afiq Fadlan. They go through. Oh, there's contact. Further towards the back there, and it looks like Jay Wong has got himself into a bit of a tussle at turn 2. Turn 2, like we were saying just now, very difficult section. The track narrows before that braking zone as well, so very tricky stuff indeed. Meanwhile, Shami Azri and Iman Danish and Avila Baha now battling for position there, trying to go through there. Ooh, very, very close there. Looks like Peter Key might be able to take it around the outside. The 2 teammates from Indonesia have managed to get themselves into 2nd and 3rd place. Peter Key overtaking on the exit of the hairpin, coming down towards the Mercedes-Benz Arena here. Let's see if there's a counter-attack there from Iman Danish coming through this section here. Very, very difficult to try and balance the car on the throttle, as well as really try and keep the cars in line, so to speak, going through the corner there. Now coming down towards the Motordrome section, the track narrows quite a bit through here. Shami Azri might have a chance of defending there. Ooh, Peter Key gets very sideways there. Iman Danish has to draw alongside him just to try and get out of the way there. Very, very tricky racing going through the corners here. Now through the famous S's and into the final 2 corners of the lap there. Is Iman Danish going to be able to do anything? He's got support there from Kelvinder Singh in his teammate Kelvinder Singh right behind him in 5th position, so he's got support down there, but it's Shami Azri in 1st place, Avila Baha and Peter Key 2nd and 3rd for their team there, as well as Iman Danish and Kelvinder Singh in 4th and 5th place.
We can see that Peter Key is actually trying to get Avila Baha ahead of everyone. So he keep on check. He keep Iman Danish on check actually. So to make sure that Avila Baha have a gap to be comfortable to chase Shami Azri. And now Iman Danish is actually trying very hard to push Peter Key to make any mistake, and that was actually one of the good recovery that have been made by Iman Danish just now.
Absolutely brilliant stuff there. But like you mentioned there, Peter Key really doing the big defensive maneuver there to try and keep all the drivers behind him right now. That means Avila Baha doesn't have to worry about the car behind him. All he has to do is worry about the car ahead of him. Shami Azri in 1st position there. It's 0.5 seconds. That's very close to Avila Baha there, coming down towards the Motordrome section there. That is within striking distance. If he manages to get a good run through the next few corners there, he might be able to set himself for an overtake coming into turn 1. So you can see there the gap between Avila Baha and Peter Key is now 2.2 seconds, but behind that you can tell there's a whole nother different story there. Iman Danish is 2/10 behind, Kelvinder Singh is 2/10 behind Iman, Mika Hakimi is 3/10 behind Kelvinder, and Zikri is 5/10, 4/10 behind Mika Hakimi. They're really bunching up the midfield right now.
And there you go. We can see this kind of type of race in F1, and now we see it here in iRacing for the Trumpet International Racing E-Series. This is actually a very good kind of race, I would say.
Absolutely brilliant stuff here. Let's see, Iman Danish, can he try and do something there? Coming down towards the drag down into the hairpin here. He's close enough. He's definitely close enough. This is definitely within slingshot territory. Getting that draft coming down towards the hairpin there. He's going to try and go around the outside. Hard onto the braking zone there. Let's see if he can try and get it under brakes. Hard on the brakes there. He's managed it. He's managed to draw a head of Peter Key, but Peter's got the inside line there. Can Iman Danish try and hold it around the outside? No, Peter defends by pushing Iman a little bit wide there. That's brilliant driving there from Peter Key, really showing off his racing abilities there. And he's also, while they're battling, he's opened up the gap between himself and Avila Bahar to 3 seconds. So this is fantastic team play here right now. But there's so many cars right now behind him. There's almost 10 cars basically behind this battle there. They're all crawling all over each other. This is shades of Gilles Villeneuve at the Spanish Grand Prix, coming down through the infield section there. That famous race where Gilles Villeneuve was able to hold off 7 different cars. Well, Peter Key's got to do you one better. He's got to try and hold off 10 different cars behind him right now. Now, this can be a tricky track to try and overtake, but it's not impossible. Of course, any track with long straights, you can always slipstream through.
Iman Danish has been following Peter Key from the first lap, Max, and he is still trying to get over with Peter Key actually. And Peter Key has been checking him since back then, and now he is actually quite close, and the gap is getting closer and closer from time to time.
Absolutely, you can see there. In fact, they've touched again. Iman Danish has tried to go around the outside of Peter Key. We're watching on board with Mika Hakimi, and of course we've got Kelvinder Singh and Iman Danish ahead of him right now, coming down towards the braking zone here. Let's see if we got a fantastic view there, and it looks like Mika Hakimi is going to try and go around the outside of Kelvinder Singh as Iman Danish tries to go. He's gone and done the switch around to try and outbrake Peter Key, but Peter closes the door, and it looks like Peter's managed to keep himself through, but it looks like Iman Danish has got a better drive coming out of the hairpin there. Let's see how they do going into the Mercedes-Benz arena. Meanwhile, Mika Hakimi is going to go side by side with Kelvinder Singh. Who's going to come out on top there? And it looks like Mika Hakimi's just about held his line, and he's just about got that position right now. Meanwhile, up ahead, we've got Iman Danish still battling with Peter Key. He's got the car on the inside. He's got the car on the outside. It's very, very difficult stuff indeed. Coming down towards the braking zone here. Let's see. Diving through the corner there and into this next braking zone. It looks like Peter Key has managed to get a little bit of a gap grown up to Iman Danish. This is an hour-long race, but these guys are racing like a 5-lapper.
There you go, Max. This is the fourth lap, and there has been switching position from one to another. And right now we are with Pavinder Singh trying to catch Mohammad Zikri in front with 0.2 gap, and it's not that far, I would say. And the gap between him and another racer behind, which is Ayman Haziq, is actually also a very small gap.
Indeed it is, and this battle that was up ahead, as you can see there in the replay here, that's Taki getting it a little bit sideways coming out of there, and one small mistake and he's lost 5 or 6 positions there. Just a small little error on the curbs there. That's how vicious the curbs are here. Absolutely fantastic stuff indeed. But what's happened now? The battle between Iman Danish and Peter Key there. It looks like Iman's got a drive coming into the hairpin there. Will he be able to do anything? It looks like no. Peter Key's managed to defend. But there, look there, that's the switchback. That's Iman Danish trying to go in around the inside. He wants to get that car just far enough inside that he can claim the apex to this next corner there. But it's very, very close indeed. Peter Key does, in fact, give him the space there. Some fantastic racecraft as he comes down to the braking zone here. And it looks like both drivers giving each other just enough space there. Oh, but Iman Danish gets the car very sideways indeed, and now he's got a big trouble there behind him. That is Mika Hakimi further behind. Both cars coming off the track there. I think they just ran out of space for any more Porsches to come around that track. I think we found the absolute limit to how many cars could fit around that corner.
Max, that was actually a narrow corner, Max, and
that's Simon Sanchez, is it? No, that's Zikri. That's Zikri and Simon Sanchez have gotten together. They're coming through that curve there, and it looks like the the tension is just about broken through all the drivers there.
That was a superb save, man. I would say that
That's
was a superb save.
Let's have a look at the instant replay here. We're watching Mohamed Zikri there coming down, diving down towards the inside here. It looks like he just gets a little bit of a nudge there from behind and has to spin the car. And brilliant stuff from everyone else trying to avoid that particular incident there. But some spectacular stuff. Oh, Pagvinder Singh has run in. Oh, there's a couple of cars there that have stopped. That's Iman Danish. That's Iman Danish battling for podium positions. And where is Peter Key? Peter Key has dropped out to 7th place. Iman Danish is down to 12th position there. We're not too sure what happened there, but it looks like Peter Key, both drivers have really come off worse through there. Let's have a look at the battle here. This is coming up towards the second corner here. Peter Key dives. Oh, it looks like Iman Danish dives up towards the inside there. Oh, a bit of a touch there. And it looks like Peter has made a little bit of contact with Iman Danish there. And a couple of the other drivers have also spun around there. I think Kalvinder Singh was involved in that mess at some point or another. But that was a pretty intense racing there. I think they were trying to race as close to each other as possible. And I think they just ran out of inches there.
Now Kalvinder Singh is up to the 3rd position, Max. He is a man on the mission. He need to get a Mika behind him by a lot of gaps, I would say now.
Yeah, I think we've got Kalvinder Singh there. He's 9.6 seconds behind Mika Hakimi there, who's managed to get himself back up to 4th position after that earlier incident. But it looks like the gaps have opened up a little bit through the course of the race there. But behind that, of course, as is traditional, especially with an iRacing race here on Adrenaline Impact, it's the trademarked, copyrighted Adrenaline Impact midfield battle coming down towards here. And as you can see there, Jay Wong is right in the middle of the action. He is in 6th position. A fantastic debut performance there from Jay Wong on iRacing here on Adrenaline Impact the Tires series here. And it's fantastic to see that the lonely driver himself has definitely managed to get himself well accustomed and well acquainted with the Porsche.
He actually rose from 10th position up to 6th position right now with all the incidents, and he managed to avoid everything, you know, Max. He is good in this.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell that no matter what race sim you're using, really the racecraft comes through. You might not be so quick coming from AC to iRacing or from iRacing to RF2 or vice versa, but one thing that can be sure of is that the racecraft, that knowledge of when to attack, when to defend, when to give the guy space and when to close the door, all that stuff really just moves across from series to series.
That will definitely give a big a big advantage on them, you know, regarding the racecraft and so on. So now we are here still looking at the race. Ayman Haziq on the 10th place, on the 7th position, sorry.
So yeah, there we go. That's Peter Key in 8th position right now. Ayman Haziq in 7th place. This is the battle for 7th and 8th. Peter Key was fighting for podium positions there, but now he's got to really push that Porsche as hard as it'll go in order to try and get past as many drivers as he can. He's now on the recovery drive of his life here. He's got the pace in the card for sure. He's got the speed as well. 0.2 of a second behind Ayman Haziq. Ooh, he's run a little bit wide there. Is he overdriving the car a little bit? It's a 1 hour race. He's got to look after those tyres. Oh no. Oh no, there appears to be quite a bit of damage there on Peter Key's car. Not too sure what happened there, but I think he might have a mechanical. Is it due to his sim? Is it due to the car? Oh, he's gone off the track there. I think he might have some serious suspension issues.
Yeah, that might be the issues, Mac. He has been he has been in incident with 1 or 2 times. So that might be a mechanical issue with his car actually right now. This is the things that in iRacing damage does count.
Absolutely. And the damage model in iRacing is very accurate. So, you know, it's modeled on real life scenarios, real life situations, and real life times to repair for a lot of these drivers here. Now, the drivers are going to have to go into the pits to repair their cars there, and depending on how much repair time he's got left, it might be very tricky for Peter Key to try and get back into the points paying positions. We've got the same points system as Formula 1, so 25 for a win, and points go down top 10 places. So you really want to be in the top 10 places for your run there. Meanwhile, Jay Wong, he's now fighting really hard with Pagvinder Singh. Pagvinder Singh, aka Roy Charles, there diving through the Motordrome section and coming out of the final corner there. Looks like Jay Wong's managed to catch up really nicely through there. Jay Wong's gained 3 positions there, but we have to have a shout out there to Pagvinder Singh and Ayman Haziq. The 2 drivers either side of Jay Wong there who've gained 5 positions through the course of the race. They now have the most overtakes between the 2 of them. Now let's see if Jay Wong can take one away from them. Diving down towards the inside there. Ooh, just about not able to make that work. I think he was a little bit too far back to try and make that work there, but he's got the draft now coming down towards the hairpin. Now this is the place where if you're going to make it happen, you can make it happen here. Let's see if Jay Wong can try and close up the gap there going around this corner. It's a little bit tricky because you have to turn you have to turn left absolutely flat out. He draws alongside Pagvinder Singh there. It looks like Roy Charles is going to give them the position, and that's a beautiful maneuver there from Jay Wong. He's managed to get him on the brakes there really nicely, managed to claim the apex, claim the exit, and now he is up into 5th position. Beautiful driving there from the can't really call him a rookie. Jay Wong's been racing for a very long time, just not in this sim.
He's not a rookie, Max.
Yeah,
he definitely got the pace, you know.
Let's have a look at that overtaking maneuver once again. Beautiful textbook overtake maneuver here, braking beautifully on the inside there, coming up, just making sure he meets up to the exit of the corner there, and brilliant stuff, getting that traction coming out of the corner there. You still have to leave the corner quicker than the other guy, not just enter the corner quicker than the other guy. But now, as you can see there, Roy Charles, aka Pagvinder Singh, is right behind him at the moment, and I don't think this battle is just quite done yet, because now Pagvinder Singh has the draft. He has the ability to slingshot now. That tool is open to him in this battle. Coming down towards the start-finish straight here. Let's see if we can do anything through here. Meanwhile, Iman Danish is fighting with Simon Sanchez for 8th position right now. Coming through the corner here. Oh, big mistake there from Iman Danish, from Simon Sanchez. I do apologize. Big mistake from Simon Sanchez and myself.
That what I was saying earlier.
Yeah. And that curb there just pushed Simon Sanchez over the limit there. The driver from Macau, the MSRT driver, like you were saying, that curb is really fierce, isn't it?
But you see the sausage that he eat, you see that?
Yeah.
That's definitely going to bring your suspension down, actually.
Yeah, you could even damage it if you're too rough. You could not only damage your suspension in iRacing, but you can also get floor damage, and that could be really difficult because a lot of the downforce created from GT3 cars, especially this Porsche, is from the undertray, the underside of the car there. So if you have any floor damage, it's not as easy to overcome. But yeah, that was, I think, Simon Sanchez going to the limit and then beyond.
Max, this is a 1 hour race, Max, and we have seen a lot of action for the past 15 minutes.
Absolutely.
And right now, Avila Bahar still trying to catch Shami Azri. Oh, and the gap, it's been like that for the whole 15 minutes, Max.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, we can say that Peter Key did his job at the start of the race there. Unfortunately, he's dropped way down into 10th place. And as you can see there, we're just having a look for Omar Aziz, his latest pit lane report. The engineers in the pits reckon that it's 0.8 seconds, the gap that you need in order to go and start drafting someone. So right now, Avila Bahar 0.9 seconds behind. He is away from the draft zone. So remember that number, 0.8 seconds is the drafting, is when the drafting zone starts for these cars there. And Shami Azri is going to try his best to try and gain as much of a gap as possible, to keep that gap as close to 1 second, or maybe even more than 1 second, as much as possible.
There you go. Not to mention, Max, this is an 1 hour race, and we have to pit.
Yeah,
that is definitely that we need to pit here to refuel or change tire or anything that they need to do it. And the pit strategy really is the main issue here, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing as well. Omar Aziz reports that Avila Bahar has an option open to him. He could try and fuel save and try and gain positions in the pit stop as well. He has been following drivers for the majority of the race. He will inevitably be using less fuel. Meanwhile, Muhammad Zikri and Afiq Fadlan there having a nice little battle there. Muhammad Zikri trying to go around the outside of Afiq Fadlan, not quite able to do so. He has to go wide just to try and avoid any incidents there, but the gap is still very close to each other there. Let's see how this goes through. 0.5 seconds gap. He has the draft. He is very close, in fact. I would say actually in the braking there, he lost out a little bit going through the brakes here, through the Bosch curve here in the Motordrome section there, but Afiq Fadlan almost losing a position there in 11th place. He's on the hunt for Peter Key right now, and I think the drivers further behind are definitely going to be thinking about how to fuel save, how to get an advantage tactically now that the race has begun to spread out.
Kevin Singh seems to be in a position where he will be comfortable, I would say, with almost 3-second gap between him and Mika Hakimi, who is actually quite a comfortable place. But, and does Mika Hakimi has a damage? No, I don't think so.
I don't think he does, but it's definitely something he's going to be looking. If he does have damage, it's going to be very slight. They can look after that car in the pit stops there. Mazdi Mardini, unfortunately, he's coming into the pits there. He's had a real horrid time there. Not as quick as he would like to be. He's usually a very fast driver, these GT cars, but unfortunately he's had to go into the pits there. I'm thinking for repairs. It's a bit too early for them to go into the pits. We think the cars will run to about 30 minutes.
At least.
Yeah.
There you go. So Mazdi, the last time that he do is actually 1:58. I think he has a lot of repair need to be done.
Yeah, there's definitely some damage at least on that car. Pavinder Singh, meanwhile, he's in 6th position there, and he's still fighting with Jay, but Jay has managed to grow a little bit of a gap there, and now the trick is going to be between himself and the driver behind him,
which is Iman Danish. Yeah.
Here we go. So this battle is going to be really tricky right now, coming down towards the braking zone here, and yeah, it's a little bit of a difficult position for Roy Charles, as he's known. His nickname is Roy Charles Pavinder Singh. He's got to try and chase the car up ahead of him, but he's got one eye behind him to see where Iman Danish is. And from visually looking at it, it looks like Iman Danish is a lot closer to the back of Roy Charles there.
And that's going to be a hard decision to make when I was a Roy Charles. You know, either I need to attack or I need to be defensive. This is a big decision, and let's see what he takes on this.
Absolutely. What would be a much easier decision would be probably with Iman Danish. He just has to push as hard as possible. Meanwhile, Mohammad Zikri is still fighting with Afiq Fadlan. They're going to go side by side, coming down towards the hairpin there. That's a big lunge there from Mohammad Zikri, but he runs a little bit wide. He's outbraked himself coming through the corner there. But Afiq Fadlan keeps to the very right-hand side just in case there's any issues there. Again, very, very smart driving there from Afa, making sure there's enough space for whatever happens there. And you can tell he's been GT racing for a very, very long time, endurance racing for a very long time there. If there's any driver that can bring a car home, it would be Afiq Fadlan. Meanwhile, Mohammad Zikri there, right behind him. He's more of a sprint style of driver there, so he might be a little bit more aggressive. Coming down towards the Motordrome section, the track narrows down quite a bit there. Ooh, both drivers going very wide there. He dives towards the inside, towards the outside, but Afiq Fadlan managing to defend, coming through the stadium section, through the Bosch curves and through the S's here. Let's see if Zikri could get the car any closer. I mean, you're close enough to try and read the serial number on the back of that rear wing right now as he comes through the final corner there, but it looks like Afa gets a better drive out of the faster corners there. This could be also part of the setup wars that we have here. Some drivers would have the cars set up to be very quick through the twisty sections. Some drivers will have less drag and try and get them on the straights. So that's going to be an interesting little yin-yang here, coming through the corners here. Hard on the brakes there, turning towards the second corner here. Very, very tricky stuff indeed. Diving through the corners here. Down towards the long left-hander. Mohammad Zikri still very, very close there to Afiq Fadlan. 0.2 of a second, definitely within outbraking distance, I would say.
There you go. Afiq Fadlan, defensive maneuver is really good, Max. He's been defensive since the past 3 to 4 laps, and Mohammad Zikri doesn't have a chance to overtake him.
Yeah, it's going to take a very, very special maneuver from Zikri to overtake him. And this is what we always say: it's one thing to catch the driver up ahead, but it's another thing to pass him, especially if it's Afiq Fadlan. He could make that car 35 feet wide if he wanted to.
That is what racecraft, Max. That is what racecraft is. You know, it's not just a word or a fancy word. Racecraft is actually a technique that you need to know how to defend, how to attack, when to be aggressive, when to be defensive, just to make sure that you bring your car back for the whole hour of the race.
Absolutely. This is one of the longest races we have on the calendar. One of the longest championships in terms of race distance, the pro class here at the Trumpet International Racing E-Series. And as we look at the battle down there, let's have a quick thanks to our sponsors LamboPlace, along with Stratus, Excitix and Trumpet, with Adrenaline Impact and Vertex Esports organising, and our special thanks to our media partners, Galeri Kereta and DS&F. Drive safe and fast. And we are on the iRacing platform there. Special thanks to them for hosting their wonderful services. Now coming down towards the braking zone here, Pargvinder Singh still trying to stay in touch with Jay Wong, but I think Jay Wong's got better race pace at this point in time. And now Pargvinder Singh has a real problem with Iman Danish behind him right now, diving through the high-speed Mercedes-Benz complex. The first corner through here, you can see Pargvinder using all of the road. Roy Charles really maximizing that car, going through around the corners there. And you can see Iman Danish also having quite good pace in that car. He was definitely in a car that could get podium positions in this race. He's definitely on podium pace at the moment.
You know that Parvinder Singh and Iman Danish really love GT3, and they race GT3 a lot, I would say. So Iman Danish and Parvinder Singh have the knowledge on how to drive this car actually, and that is really good. And you can see that from the maneuver that been taken by Iman and Parvinder Singh itself.
So yeah, absolutely. And you can tell that the setup is fairly similar with these two cars. They've been lapping consistently, very close to each other. Pargvinder able to defend, but he hasn't had to do anything too dramatic right now. But they might have to do something dramatic coming out of turn one here. Iman Danish coming out on the inside, hard on the brakes. Will he be able to claim the apex there? And he has managed to claim the apex there. Now he's going to have to drive out of the corner, but be careful here because Pargvinder Singh is right behind him. He might get the draft coming down towards the hairpin. Coming down towards the hairpin here. You can see Jay Wong has managed to run away at this point. But it looks like Pargvinder Singh is going to try and go and dive in on the inside. They're going side by side through there. Hard on the brakes there. It looks like Iman managing to brake just a little bit later. Still managing to claim the apex and coming out there. That's Iman Danish's position there. Fantastic stuff. That's 7th place. And he's going to be, 6th place for Iman Danish. And he's going to be trying to push as hard as possible to catch up with Jay Wong.
I would say they would have maybe a few couple of laps before they lose their traction. And this is the replay upon what happened just now between Iman Danish and Parvinder Singh. That was a good driving maneuver by Iman Danish done that.
Absolutely. He really capitalized. He managed to get it on the inside, but of course when you're on the inside of that corner you slow down quite a bit going around the corner there. So he made up for it by driving out wide on the exit just to try and make sure he had a bit more speed to try and keep Pargvinder Singh at bay there. So fantastic stuff through there. I think this is a slow burn battle that's going to carry on for quite some time.
Now Iman Danish will try his best to get to Jay Wong, I would say. Like 1 second behind Jay Wong is actually Iman Danish, and he can see Jay Wong in front.
Yeah, it makes a big difference when you can actually see the driver ahead of you. You can tell where he's braking, where he's going faster, where he's going slower, and you start to imitate his driving style. You start to try and outdo him at that point in time. It can be quite dangerous in the fact that if you try and follow him too much, he might drive off the road. But at the same time, it is a big help psychologically to try and get another position there. And you can see he's managed to close in quite quickly there.
There you go. Basically, if you imitate your the driver in front of you, most of the time you will be quicker than them. But not to forget, most of the time, if they out of the track, you will follow out of the track, and that happened a lot, I would say.
Absolutely, that happens all the time, especially with me. We have a couple of drivers there who can absolutely attest to that when it comes to me and iRacing. Shami Azri is still in the lead. He's still maintaining that 2-second gap with Avila Bahar, and he's had to fight for every single tenth of that gap. Trust you me, Shami Azri is not saving anything right now. He's just pushing the car at this point in time. It leads me to believe that there's going to be a pit stop sometime soon for Shami Azri at this moment.
The track temperature quite, I would say quite cold tonight, which is 33 Celsius. It's not that hot, so the tire will maybe run out a little bit late.
Absolutely. So, yeah, with the track temperatures a lot lower, you can be a little bit more aggressive with the tires there, and that's probably why Shami Azri is still pushing very hard. Indeed, Avila Bahar is not being left behind by any stretch of the imagination there. But like we said earlier on, he could also be saving fuel. He might be planning to pit later, because the later you pit, the faster you can go for the last stint of the race, and it's always the last lap that's the most important lap of the race there. You want to be as quick as possible for that section.
You know, yeah, the track temperature does affect your tires, but the track temperature doesn't affect your fuel. So you still need the fuel, either you need it or not.
So there's a lap 6 incident between car number 7 and car 880 is under investigation according to race control there. So we'll keep you up to date as we go through that. But the stewards have decided to take a much closer look into that particular incident there. We've got live stewarding all throughout the Trumpet International Racing E-Series here to make sure everything's nice and fair.
There you go. We are now with Iman Danish, 0.7 behind. He's actually doing quite good.
Absolutely. He's got the pace right now, and of course Jae Wong is a very quick driver, but being new to the whole
whole environment, this is the new environment for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, he's got a prodigious amount of talent there, but Iman Danish has grown up. He's born and grown up in iRacing, and he's really trained very hard to be very good in iRacing.
And GT3 is his bread and butter.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can see he's streaming a lot for the GT3 races before, and I think this is the one of the few times that he used this car.
Yeah, I mean, like he was saying early on in the pre-race, in the pre-season show, that he had the car for quite some time and he was sitting on it for quite a bit. Mamataki, meanwhile, he's gone into the pits. I think he's the first of our regular scheduled pit stops coming in, and we probably see a couple of drivers from further back choose to pit early.
Taki is actually quite unfortunate today because he met an incident for quite some times. I think 2 or 3 times he made a mistake, and that really punished his car. And his last pace is actually 143. It's a lot slower than other people.
Yeah, but having said that, he's gone in and out of the track there. Not too much damage, but that's all it takes to slow the car down. Going around here. So I think we'll see a couple of more drivers who will pit a little bit early. Meanwhile, this battle between Iman Danish and Jae Wong is starting to hot up right in the middle of the pack here. Meanwhile, Avila Bahar is come into the pits. He's coming from second place, so he's not going to run the car late. He's actually going to come in around the midpoint there. And let's see what else. Kalvinder Singh is gone into the pits there, as well as the battle between Jae Wong and Iman Danish. It's going to be a pit stop race, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see who's got the guts to fuel their cars light, who's not going to take on new tires. There's going to be a lot of action right now in the pits. Let's see if we can tell who's going to come out ahead on this. Avila Bahar, he's gone in early, so he's going to go out early there. But let's see if Jae Wong and Kalvinder Singh and a lot of other drivers there. Peter Key has overtaken all the cars in the pits right now, but that's going to be temporary because he's going to have to go into the pits there. Afiq Fadlan has also overtaken everyone in the pits there. So it's going to be a really split race right now because a lot of drivers went into the pits there. Iman Danish managed to get out ahead of Pagvinder Singh and Jae Wong. So it looks like Iman Danish has managed to overtake Jae Wong in the pits, and Pagvinder Singh has managed to do that as well. So Jae Wong's got it all to do again as he comes around the track right now. As they lap another car coming around the corner there, it looks like It's all change going through the pit stops right now. Meanwhile, Shami Azri is up ahead, but 18 seconds, not really enough to go in for a pit.
This pit stop is not just stop and go. This pit stop has a lot of action in it, Max. Like you said earlier. Usually you can say, oh, pit stop, and then you stop, and then you change tires or you refuel, and then you just go. But this pit stop has a lot of decision in making.
Absolutely. This has been critical for the race now because it's completely upturned the midfield battle. And Iman Danish managing to play that beautifully. He's short-fueled the car. He's definitely running with less fuel, I think, than the other drivers. He might have even chosen not to take tyres on. We didn't quite see if the cars went up on jacks. But now Shami Azri is in the pits. Shami Azri is in the pits, and that means Mika Hakimi is going to assume the race lead fairly shortly. No, he won't, because Mika Hakimi has gone into the pits as well. So that means Shami Azri is going to go into the pits and out again, and he's going to maintain the lead right now as he comes out on track there. Beautiful, beautiful stuff there. Avila Baha. Now, here's the interesting thing. Shami Azri is out there on fresh tyres, but it does take quite a while, especially GT3 tyres, to warm up. It might even take a lap and a half for the tyres to reach full working temperature. Avila Baha, he's going at speed, and he's got his tyres up to temperature there, so he might have a chance to at least give Shami Azri a bit of a fright before he himself has to go into the pits there. But after all of that pit stop action, Shami Azri is in first place. Avila Baha yet to pit in second place. Kavinder Singh is in third with Mika Hakimi in fourth, Iman Danish in fifth, Pagvinder Singh in sixth, Jay Wong in seventh, Ayman Haziq in eighth, and Simon Sanchez in ninth. I do apologize, Avila Baha has in fact pitted earlier in the race, so it'll be interesting to see if he's going to be able to make it to the end of the race.
This is the things, Max. When Avila pit, Shami doesn't pit.
Yeah.
When Shami pit, Avila is behind him. But now Shami in front of Avila, even though he pit.
Yeah. So you could definitely tell that there's a lot of pace that went in there. Shami Azri definitely pushing very hard. And that's the key, is to really push the car hard going into the pits and really push the car hard coming out of the pits if you can. As hard as your tyres will allow, to try and open up that gap that you've managed to gain through the pit stop.
And we are in the middle of the race, Max. This race left with 25 minutes to go, and a lot of action we have seen from the past 30 minutes.
Indeed, it has been absolutely fantastic racing through the leaderboard. A lot of very tactical racing as well. So now, as we're going through the race there, we can see everything's just sort of relaxed a little bit, calmed down a little bit. We still have eyes on Jay Wong versus Pagvinder Singh right now in that battle, but we do have a bit of a giveaway there from our friends at LamboPlace. So yeah, a bit of a giveaway here from our friends at LamboPlace. Get 12 ringgit off with a minimum purchase of 40 ringgit by clicking on the link to shop at adrenalineImpact.com/LamboPlace and use the code LBPER12, all caps, LBPER12 from 25th March 2022 till the 29th of April 2022. Limited to the first 500 peeps, so ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
There you go, a nice giveaway from our friend from LamboPlace.
Absolutely. I already can think of a lot of things that I want to buy using that promo code, so you guys better watch out there. Meanwhile, we're coming back to the race there. Special thanks goes out to LamboPlace for that wonderful, generous offer. But meanwhile, we've got Jay Wong right behind Pagvinder Singh right now. You can tell he definitely wants to at least get one position back from his pit stop, if not two, coming down through Mercedes-Benz complex, out onto the back straight there, that famous back straight where drivers used to turn up at 350 kilometers an hour before braking in. A little bit slower this time around, but definitely no less tricky, coming towards the Bosch curve here in the middle of the Motordrome section, and it looks like Jay Wong is on pace to try and catch Pagvinder Singh, but it's going to take him a while.
I think Jay Wong has been quite comfortable with the car itself, Max. For the past 30 minutes, he has been quite well. So now he's on the pace just to make sure that he can maybe push Pagvinder Singh a little bit more.
Yeah.
And maybe can overtake him.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But of course, we've seen so many drivers who have had the ability to push Meanwhile, race control has decided car number 7 was careless hit and spun car 880. 2 points and drive-through penalty for car number 7. So that's going to be big news there for car number 7, which is Peter Key. So Peter Key has a drive-through penalty there over his driving standards there. He's got a couple of laps there. Oh, there's a big incident behind Iman Danish there. That's Jae Wong Pagvinder Singh off the track there, and that looks terminal. That's a huge impact there from Pagvinder Singh. I believe he was battling with Jae Wong there. Not too sure what happened, but that's a lot of damage.
Oh, that is fatal, Max. That is fatal.
Oh.
You can see.
Let's have a look at the instant replay there, and just a little bit of a contact there. I think Pagvinder thought he could actually try and slot ahead of Jae Wong there, slipstreaming down the road, but unfortunately a little bit of contact there, and with these cars, the speed that they're going, a little bit of contact can mean a huge accident.
A little bit of contact with a huge impact.
Absolutely there. Jae Wong is not going to be too pleased with that, because that's obviously going to have a little bit of damage, at least a little bit of damage on his car there. So his race has just gotten a little bit complicated. Pagvinder Singh's race has just gotten a lot complicated, and it's going to be a pity, because they were really battling quite close for many laps before and after the pit stop as well. Meanwhile, let's have a look at the replay there, and that's Taki, I believe, going around the outside of Pagvinder Singh. So he's got some damage on that car there. He's going to have to go into the pits.
There you go. Like Max said earlier, in these GT3 cars, a tiny bit of damage will ruin your race.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, Iman Danish is now in 5th position. He must be glad that he's managed to get away from all the drama happening behind him, but he's managed to get himself up into 5th place. Simon Sanchez might be able to gain a couple of positions there as well, but Jae Wong still in 6th position. Ayman Haziq in 7th, Simon Sanchez in 8th. Meanwhile, Afiq Fadlan is in 11th place. Let's see what happened with Afiq Fadlan coming down towards the start-finish straight there. A couple of blinks, and he's managed to get past Pagvinder Singh on the exit of the pits there, and managed to gain himself another position.
There you go. Pagvinder Singh managed to pit and repair his car a little bit, I think, just to make sure that he can finish this race. That will be, I would say, a big difference between he just drive that red car.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot more time if he just keeps driving the wreckage around, so to speak. So it's definitely a wise choice. It's also a safer choice to come into the pits, make sure the car's tracking and the car suspension system is fixed at the very least before he heads back out again. Of course, he could still keep running and still have a chance to get into the points position. He's only 2 positions behind 10th place right now, so anything can happen, and it's best to try and keep the car out on track. Meanwhile, that's Muhammad Zikri in a spot of bother there, and what was I just saying? Pagvinder Singh managing to overtake Muhammad Zikri there, and he's 1 more position away from the points playing position. Look at that big slide there from Zikri. That corner is so difficult. You can really have that snap oversteer coming out of the corner there, and that really sent Zikri on a wild ride.
That is a scary slide, Max. Yes. You know that someone behind you will hit you eventually, so you need to make sure that you get out of the track fast enough just to avoid another incident.
That was really good driving there, because having to get off the track in order to make sure that everyone gets past safely, he's had to drive the car straight at the wall, which is, I don't know, to me that just seems even more frightening. But he's managed to save it somehow. Perhaps a little bit of Walter Roll entered him in and just the right time there. But in the meantime, Simon Sanchez is in 8th position. He's chasing down Ayman Haziq again. That he's gotten close enough to be able to see Ayman Haziq ahead of him. So this could be an interesting battle. About just over a second between the 2 drivers there. And if Simon can get the pace out of the car, he might be in for another position.
Oh, I would say that Mika Hakimi will have a problem there. Jae Wong is just...
He's managed to overtake Mika Hakimi going around the outside there, driving on the drag strip there, which is an interesting choice, but he's managed to make it work. He's managed to get the car going through there. Mika Hakimi, as you were saying, he did look very, very slow. He looked like he either missed a shift or had some sort of mechanical problem, but his car's back up and running again. So we're not too sure what happened there. So Mika Hakimi dropping a position to Jay Wong at the moment. We can see from the driver cam there, he's definitely still focused. He's not too worried about whatever happened that made him slow down there. So we're not too sure what happened there. But coming down towards the hairpin here, let's see if Mika can sort of counter-attack that move there by Jay Wong. Jay goes a little bit defensive, just making sure he covers him off before he commits to the entry of the corner there. Jay just a little bit wide on the exit there, but he's managed to slow that corner down. So that's really given Mika, every time you slow the apex down when you're the car in front in a battle, you can slow the apex down and make the driver behind you slow down a little bit more. You have to just check up to make sure you don't have any contact. And again, you see that there. I think Jay Wong's in full defensive mode right now. He knows that he may have had just a little bit of a lucky break getting up into 5th place, but Mika Hakimi, he's got all the pace in the world. He can overtake Jay Wong. So it's now down to racecraft to see if Jay can keep hold of that 5th place. But you can hear there's another little problem there. I'm not too sure if that's a throttle problem, if it's with his sim or in the car. But it did sound a bit strange, didn't it?
Yeah, Max, that is definitely it. And as per I see from our event timing, we have Mika Hakimi have gone off track just now.
Right, so that's probably why he would have still probably had a bit of dirt on the tires even, and that could make a bit of a difference there. Mika Hakimi really went off the track there. Now I think he's gone over the curves just a little bit too much. So let's have a quick look there again. Coming out of the corner there, he gets on the curb on the outside a little bit too much, and there we go. Again, those S's, they're so tricky. It looks so simple on screen on the TV, but it's very, very difficult to get that right.
It's not simple, Max. An S's with an elevation changes. Yeah. It's not simple.
It is, as it turns out, incredibly hard. And this is Mika Hakimi. This is not a young driver just coming through there. He's been racing and iRacing for a long time, just like Iman Danish. Very, very talented, racing with an Italian team as well as with a local team here with BSR and DRS Wave Italy team, which is a Black Wolf WOT DRS Wave Italy. Bit of a long name, but very, very famous.
It was long.
Very, very famous race team from Italy. I think they actually combined with a couple of other groups, which is why the name is quite long. But Mika Hakimi, again, he's raced iRacing in European leagues, in American leagues, so he's very, very quick there. So if he can make a mistake, imagine what the rest of us could probably do.
You know how hard that access just now happened to be with this car?
Yeah.
This is a snappy oversteer kind of car. And that access has a lot of elevation change on it. Mm-hmm. And it will toast the car around. That is what happened to him just now.
So yeah, we have race control reporting that lap 24 incident between car 64 and car 6 is under investigation. So car 64 and car 6.
Jay Wong and that was Jay Wong and Pavinder Singh actually.
Right. So that would have been the incident on the run up to the hairpin earlier on in the race there. It'll be interesting to see what the stewards decide on that account. But Simon Sanchez in 8th place right now. He's still trying hard to get up towards the back of the other car of Ayman Hazik at the moment.
So would you say, okay, we have like maybe around 13 minutes left, 14 minutes left. So would Iman Danish will catch to Kelvinder Singh? The gap between them is like 4 seconds, I think.
It's possible. It is possible. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. But again, there's not a lot of time left in the race. And it's one thing to catch Kelvinder Singh. It's another thing to try and overtake Kelvinder Singh, because Kelvin is a very good defensive driver.
Another experienced driver we are talking about.
Oh yeah. He's another one in the same mold as Zafar. He can really make that car about 40 foot wide if he needed to. So it's going to be quite difficult to overtake. But Iman Danish is one of the few drivers that can do it as well. So Michael Hafiz there. Meanwhile, we're looking at the comments there. Michael Hafiz saying, "Come on, Hyperlambu."
There you go, Hyperballs.
Hyperballs, yes, and a couple of other guys there as well, and interesting stuff indeed. All sorts of stuff there. Do leave your comments down below in the comments section. It's quite entertaining having a look there as well. Simon Sanchez, meanwhile, he's really caught up big time to Ayman Haziq at this lap. He's definitely got the pressure on. He's put the pressure on big time now. It's only 0.4 seconds, 0.4 of a second between Simon Sanchez and Ayman Haziq at this point of the lap. Coming up towards here, that's drafting zone. 0.3 of a second, in fact. He's managed to get a fantastic run out of turn 2 and coming down the back straight there. Hard on the throttle coming around the corner there. Can he try and pull out? Is he going to try and pull out? Is he going to see? He's going to have a bit of a look, but he's not going to go for it. He's going to just try again on the next lap. I think he's just trying to put Ayman Haziq under as much pressure as possible and hope for a mistake perhaps. Simon Sanchez, a very experienced GT competitor in iRacing, but Ayman Haziq also not a slow driver by any stretch of the imagination. This battle for 7th position, really very, very fast indeed. Both drivers have winning experience in iRacing, that's for sure.
The battle for the 7th position looks like battle for the podium position right now, Max.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's more than just a race. Ayman Haziq, another racer from Blue Steel Racing, I think. Yeah, representative from Blue Steel Racing. And Simon Sanchez was actually a pro driver from Macau.
Yes, from the MSRT, the Macau Sim Racing team. Again, very, very high level competitor, very, very high level team. Both Blue Steel Racing and MSRT, a lot of experience. They've raced against each other. The other teammate, of course, for Blue Steel Racing being
Mika Hakim.
Yeah,
Mika Hakim.
Very, very quick drivers there. They're actually running in position right now. 6th place for Mika Hakimi, 7th place for Ayman Haziq, but Simon Sanchez is about to throw a wrench in the works. I think Ayman Haziq has managed to open up that gap a little bit on the last lap, so Ayman's definitely responding to Simon Sanchez's attack at this moment in time, but still 0.6 seconds. That's still in drafting zone there, so it's still not out of the woods right now. What Ayman has to do is really push that Porsche as hard as possible to try and get as big a gap as possible.
Shami Azri, 10-minute left in the race, and Shami Azri looks like he is quite comfortable in front.
Yeah.
And Avila Baha with 70-second gap between him and Kevin Singh. It makes him looks like, okay, I just need to drive this thing. I'm not sure regarding the traffic, because it doesn't look like there's traffic in this race anymore.
Yeah, there's only 2 drivers that are a few laps down. Peter Key, unfortunately, out of the race there. A bit too much damage, I believe. Race control announcing 10 minutes remaining. Shami Azri still in the lead with Avila Baha in 2nd place. Kelvin Singh in 3rd, followed by Iman Danish, Jay Wong, Mika Hakimi, Ayman Haziq, Simon Sanchez, Mohamed Taki, and Afiq Fadlan. Your top 10 at the moment. Meanwhile, we're looking at Mika Hakimi, who's managed to close up quite a bit to Jay Wong. Again, Jay has been doing a fantastic job defending ever since he got that position. He may have got that position by chance, but does he have the skill to try and keep that position going right now? Mika was a little bit closer now. They've drawn out the gap a little bit, but I think Mika is on the counter-attack right now. That BSR car really being pushed to the limit.
And there you go, Mika Hakimi with 8-second gap behind Jay Wong. Is actually trying to make the maneuver to overtake Jay Wong just now, but with 8-second gap, I think he just into the draft zone.
Yeah, it's going to take quite a bit of time there. Meanwhile, Simon Sanchez has managed to find quite a lot of time there. Perhaps Ayman Haziq might have made a little bit of a mistake. Coming down towards the hairpin there. Let's see if he can open that up, but no, Simon Sanchez is still going to put the pressure on. He could have overtaken there. I think right now the play from Simon Sanchez is to try and stay with Ayman Haziq as long as possible. Perhaps overtake at the last possible moment so that there's no counter-attack from Ayman Haziq, because Ayman's going very quickly there for Blue Steel Racing. The MSRT car behind him also going very quickly indeed. The more they battle, however, the more chance Mika Hakimi can just focus on the battle ahead with Jay Wong, and less on the battle that's happening behind him. But we have to talk about Jay Wong there. Definitely a candidate for driver of the day in Pro, I think. Absolutely fantastic run there from the Singaporean driver up ahead there. But this battle between Simon Sanchez and Ayman Haziq has to go down as another driver of the day moment.
You know that, Max, when you been followed for quite some times, you will have this mental fatigue.
Yep,
This is the things that as a race driver, as a sim driver, we don't want that to happen. because I don't want to say it, but you know what would happen when you had that kind of mental fatigue.
Yep, the longer you have to keep a driver behind him, the worse the mistake is going to be when it does eventually happen there. And Simon Sanchez is putting as much pressure as possible going through that corner there. You can see earlier on, you can see a big look coming down towards turn 1 there. And that's just Simon trying to fill the mirrors of the car up ahead, move around a little bit and keep Ayman guessing. You can see it here. He's not going to be able to overtake, but he's going to just pop out of the slipstream just a little bit, just to say hi, how are you, before going through the corner there. But that's very close battling indeed between these two drivers here, and I think it's going to be down to whether Ayman Haziq can hold his nerve for the next 3 or 4 laps.
That was a big mental game, Max. That was a big mental game, I would say. And now we can see that Iman Danish is 2.6 seconds behind Calvinder Singh. I would say he can get to Calvinder. But like Max said earlier, if he can get to Calvinder, will he manage to overtake Calvinder? That's going to be an issue, another issue that he need to look into, I would say.
Absolutely. Iman Danish has the pace, and it's definitely for sure he has enough pace, I think, to try and close up the gap. You can see the time on the left-hand side of the screen get Iman Danish's gap get smaller and smaller and smaller as we go through the race here. Meanwhile, the gap that's getting very small indeed is the gap between Simon Sanchez and Ayman Haziq. Another gap that's gotten very small is the gap between Jay Wong and Mika Hakimi. Mika's put some fantastic laps to try and get close to Jay Wong up ahead here right now. And as you can see, he's very close coming down towards the back straight here. Again, another slipstreaming opportunity there. Both drivers a little bit ragged coming out of turn 3 and coming down towards the turn 4, the hairpin. Let's see if he can close up the gap just a little bit more. Jay Wong already thinking of defending here. And as you can see, very close on the brakes there. It looks like Jay might be losing braking performance at this point.
There you go, Max. Another level of defensive that have been taken into consideration by Jay Wong actually. Now he's defending for the fifth position. Yeah, for the 5th position between him and Mika Hakimi.
So there you have it going down towards there. And looks like Sami Azri went off track throughout the course of this battle. We didn't quite see it out on screen, but Sami Azri did in fact go off the track there and come back onto the track. A couple of the marshals around there having a bit of a gasp, as we could hear at the back half of the track there. But he has managed to get back on track. It looks like he didn't lose that much time, but there you go. And it looks like Mika Hakimi's gone into the pits. Mika Hakimi's gone into the pits. So that's going to be interesting. I think he tried to push hard just to try and get himself a little bit of a gap, but he's had to go into the pit lane there. Not too sure what happened with Mika. Meanwhile, the battle between Simon Sanchez and Ayman Haziq is really hotting up as they come through the first corner there. You can see Simon is just really poking around at this point, just try to look left, look right, and really try to just pressure Ayman Haziq into a mistake.
There you go. Mika Hakimi just got out of the pit just now, Max. He's 1 second behind Simon Sanchez. And now a battle between Mika and Simon and Ayman Haziq might be another battle that we want to look into. But only 4 minutes left in this race. So will he get the position back?
It looks likely he's managed to switch inside, outside. Simon is just running a little bit risky through there. Meanwhile, Mika Hakimi has come up from behind. The 2 Blue Steel racing cars. Mika Hakimi has come into the rescue there. He's going to try and get in between these 2 cars, I think, and try and shut Simon Sanchez down a little bit there. So Simon Sanchez, his hands being forced. It's now or never. He has to get past Ayman Haziq as soon as possible. But that little mistake at the hairpin there means there's a bit too much of a gap between Simon Sanchez and Ayman Haziq. Simon's got a lot of work to do now to try and gain that position back. But Mika Hakimi right behind him now. Again, another driver that's going to be pushing as hard as possible. That's the unfortunate Pavinder Singh there having to let the leaders through. That's another driver that's been lapped, but there's not been an awful lot of drivers that have been lapped. That's how high the ability of all the drivers are.
Yeah, this is a 1 hour race, Max, and we didn't see that much traffic. So this is the level, the pro level of the driver that we have tonight.
Absolutely. 3 cars very close to each other now, and it looks like we've got another midfield battle going through the field. Meanwhile, Jay Wong's in the pits. Jay Wong is in the pits. So I'm not too sure what happened there. Perhaps he might have gotten a little bit of damage, but that's him out of 5th place. Let's have a look again at Jay Wong going into the Motordrome section. Oh, he's had to go very wide there, and I think he may have perhaps had a little bit of issue there going through. Of course, he could have gotten too many incident points as well. Now coming down towards here, it looks like there's a overtaking maneuver there. Mika Hakimi managing to mug Simon Sanchez coming down towards the hairpin there, and now Simon Sanchez being shut out of another position. He's now down into 7th place. Mika Hakimi is now into 6th, 5th and 6th for the Blue Steel Racing cars. Simon Sanchez in 7th place now. So he went from challenging Ayman Hazik for a position to Mika Hakimi really helping him out there. I think there might even be a little bit of team orders there, because it definitely was a case where Mika pitted a little bit late to try and get had a late pit stop to try and come out and start attacking Simon Sanchez. So that's some serious teamwork. There's no team championship unfortunately in this series, but fantastic stuff regardless.
No team championship, but teamwork does pay a lot of what we call that, a lot of dividend in it.
Yeah.
You know. Now Ayman Hazik is in the 5th place, and the race will end in 1 minute max.
Absolutely brilliant stuff there. Brilliant bit of racecraft from both drivers there. I would not have thought to do that, to deliberately run through the pits, drop down 2 positions just so that you can help your teammate out. That's some serious I think Mika Hakimi gets some serious bro points there, and you can see there he's trying to push his teammate just a little bit hard there to try and get away from Simon Sanchez. But brilliant racing from both Ayman Hazik and Simon Sanchez throughout that. Ayman for withstanding all that pressure, and Simon Sanchez giving all of that pressure. Race Control has reported car 64 weaved, hit and spun car 6, 3 points and 10 seconds stop and go penalty for car 64. So car 64 is heading into the pits right now for his pit stop.
Car 64 is actually Jay Wong. This is
Wong.
the incident that happened between Jay Wong and Parvinder Singh just now.
So just checking in with Umar Aziz, he has in fact served that penalty. He's now come out in 12th position, funnily enough behind Parvinder Singh.
Oh. that was just unfortunate for him.
So meanwhile we see the positions change there. I believe that is Ayman Hazik giving back the position to Mika Hakimi. Brilliant bit of teamwork there. I think that as a little bit of a thank you, Ayman Hazik has actually given that position back to Mika Hakimi. Brilliant stuff there. In the meantime, Iman Danish is now managed to get himself up into 4th position as he's gone up through there, and he's just behind Kelvinder Singh. That's a driver who had quite a lot of dramatic moments in the race. He's fallen quite down the order, so he's definitely another driver of the day candidate. Half the field is really.
He actually drove down to 11th position and rise up again to 4th position.
Yeah.
This is the determination of what he can do in this kind of race.
Absolutely. So the 2 Hyperbulls cars in 3rd and 4th position there. Brilliant racing from both those 2 drivers. But coming up towards the end of the race there, the race timer has indeed stopped. We will check to see if the checkered flag is waved, or if it's the white flag that's coming up, and it looks like is that the checkered?
Yeah,
that is in fact the checkered flag for Shami Azri. And the lighting not so good there on the start finish straight, as it turns out. Shami Azri there in 1st place, Avila Baha in 2nd position. So fantastic stuff. The first winner in the Trumpet International Racing E-Series, Shami Azri, comes home across the line. Avila Baha in 2nd place, and Kelvinder Singh in 3rd position. Brilliant stuff there. You can see there in flying formation the Hyperbulls team cars. Kelvinder Singh in 3rd position. Iman Danish coming home in 4th, and we'll have a similar result there with Mika Hakimi and Ayman Hazik coming home in 5th and 6th places.
Mika Hakimi and Ayman Hazik will win this race, even though he is in the 5th and 6th place.
They would have felt like it, that's for sure.
He will win this place. It's like, this is how you race with style, bro.
He's definitely won the style award. I'll give them that much. So there you see it. Mika Hakimi and Mika Hakimi and Ayman Haziq come across the line there, and it looks like Taki is dropped out to 7th position there. So he's going to come home in 7th place, splitting the two between the two drivers there. Let's have a look at MSRT Racing coming across the line there, and that is Taki, in fact, that's coming across the line. Do apologize, and wonderful for him to be able to actually get that position back. I'm not too sure what happened between Taki and Simon Sanchez. I'm not sure if he came from the front or the back.
Yeah, that was what I was wondering right now.
We have a random Taki situation.
What
there.
happened to Simon Sanchez?
Yeah, we're not too sure what happened there.
Taki rose up to 7th place.
So yeah, really very strange things happening there for round 1 of the Trumpet International Racing E-Series. But now here is the race results. Shami Azri is in 1st position with Avila Baha in 2nd. Kavinder Singh comes home in 3rd place with Ahmad Danish in 4th, Mika Hakimi in 5th, followed by Ayman Haziq, Muhammad Taki, Simon Sanchez, Afiq Fadlan and Muhammad Zikri, a last points paying position. In 11th place, Pagvinder Singh, followed by Jay Wong, Nevsky Chin, Mazdi Mardini and Peter Key. So there you have it. We are here at the end of what has been a fantastic, incredible race. A lot of intrigue, a lot of drama, a lot of beautiful racing, a couple of mistakes, and just a bit of tension just sprinkled through.
You know, Michael asked for the drama. And this is I would say this race is actually quite good. It's not that much drama as we expected. You know, because this is a GT3, this is a Porsche Cup, and it is a snappy understeer kind of things. So it's still a good race, I would say.
Absolutely. So that's been a fantastic pro race here from the Hockenheim ring. We'll be back very, very shortly with the amateur race coming soon. The TCR cars are being warmed up in the pits and heading out for their practice as we speak. So do stick around. We'll be back very, very shortly.
We'll be back for the Honda.
Oh yeah. And the Hyundais.
LamboPlace LamboPlace. LamboPlace. LamboPlace.
Hello and welcome back to Trumpet International Racing E-Series. So we have the second race max tonight, which is the TCR series. And this is the AM class for this race. And we have 24 driver will be racing for tonight.
Absolutely. We have 24 drivers who have actually managed to make the grid, which is absolutely fantastic. Out of the 25 guys who have qualified, basically all of them, barring one driver, has managed to make it to the first round. This is really going to be exciting. 25 cars around the Hockenheim circuit is going to be quite the spectacle.
And it is TCR.
Yes, absolutely. So now before we've seen the rather, how do we say, refined driving that you have to do in GT racing, and TCR not so refined.
And you can take it more aggressively, I would say.
Absolutely. You can take it very aggressively because these cars are designed for a little bit of, shall we say, embrace.
This is like a literally training pain kind of car.
Yeah,
door
absolutely.
to door.
Absolutely. So we're in the middle of qualifying right now. Zainal is in first position. So there we go, Zainal in first place. Francis Matrillo from the Philippines in second. Muhammad Shukran in third place. And Han An from Korea. South Korea there in fourth position. James Russell's in fifth with Sharon Rofuddin in sixth. Muhammad Uzair in seventh. Muazzam Zair in eighth place. And that is Gaskun, as he's known fondly to his fans. Shami Aizad in 9th and Aldo Rey Balagulan in 10th position. So we've got drivers from Brunei, we've got drivers from Indonesia, we've got drivers from the Philippines, and we've got drivers from South Korea as well. So fantastic field of drivers there.
Yeah, there's a lot of different kind of country. So this is actually an international series, I would say that. So we have 4 different type of car, which is Hyundai Elantra, we have Hyundai Velosters, we have Honda Civics, and another one is Audi RS3.
Yeah, absolutely. So Audi was the first brand to have their cars in iRacing, and that's really set off a lot of people there because they really want to see all of the other brands that make TCR special. So it's great that they've been able to get the other brands involved.
When the first Audi came out, I was like, dude, we need more.
Yeah.
And then they give us more, and it is really brilliant, I would say. And now we are looking at it at Hockenheim Ring.
Yeah, it's brilliant stuff there. Of course, there are a few differences. So it is a multi-car race. Single class, very, very close in terms of technical specifications. All cars have a 2-litre turbocharged engine, all BOP to the same power figures, although the Alfa Romeo, which is unfortunately not in the championship yet, who knows, hopefully iRacing might bring that in. That one's a little bit unique because it has a direct injection 1750cc engine for marketing purposes, because Cloverleaf Alfa Romeos traditionally always had 1750cc engines there, but still same power, same torque, same power curve. So that is the concept with TCR, is that the cars not only have the same engine power, but it was the first series by the FIA that actually had full-on power curves. Meanwhile, we've just seen James Russell take first position there. So he is in provisional pole position there with a 148.997. What a lap there from the Audi driver. James Russell, 148.997. He's the first into the 148. Zainal has him there in 149.396. Francis Matrillo, 149.421. And a lot of 149s there. In fact, let's see how far it goes down there. 10th place. You have to go all the way down to 10th place before you see someone over 1 minute and 50 seconds. So the top 10 in 1 second.
You know, I would like to say that the gap in the qualifying, pre-qualifying race was actually 1 second within all the races tonight.
Yeah.
So we can see a close gap race tonight, and I think we can see a door-to-door battle.
Absolutely. The drivers are a lot closer in AM than they are in Pro, which I think has always been the case with these two category series. But especially with the much closer, much more exciting style of touring car racing, 45 minutes, not a lot of time to try and get the moves done. Still, I believe they still have to go into pits as well. Interestingly enough, here Muazzam Zaire he's running a special Biff livery, which looks really cool there, the hot pink. His channel colours mixed in with the Biff colours as well. Another driver from that particular community. And there's a lot of guys from other communities as well. We've seen guys that are from, of course, the Adrenaline Impact pool of drivers. We've seen a couple of the Speed Tavern friends out there as well, and a couple of the guys from the Biff Racing community there. So let's have a look at the fastest lap so far. That's James Russell, I believe we're on board with, coming around the first corner there. He's absolutely flying this time around in the touring cars. He's had quite a bit of experience. He's more of a single-seater driver in real life, but also a lot of experience in rallying. So this is one of our real-life drivers that have taken the plunge into sim racing in the last couple of years there, and he's really taken to it very well.
Yeah, we go, Max. He is an experienced racer, even in real life and even in sim racing. I say there's a lot of James Russell name when it comes to iRacing series that happen in Adrenaline Impact.
Absolutely, and it's brilliant to see him on board here, along with a couple of the other real life racing drivers that are racing in this series as well. It's great for the sim racers to actually pit their skills against the real-life drivers, and also for the real-life drivers to do the same. It's often a two-way street when it comes to this sort of thing there. James Russell, incidentally, owner of the Stratus Motorsports team, a big karting team in the Asian karting series, and it's absolutely fantastic to see him on board there, and also using sim racing as a tool to try and train his drivers to take the next step out of karting.
He is the coach for that karting group, right?
Yeah. Coach and team owner as well. So he really handles all of the day-to-day running as well. So a very, very experienced driver there.
From a karting background and a rally background, I would say he is quite aggressive on the drive for these kind of cars, you know?
Absolutely. There you can see that the unique Stratos lime green livery there. Beautiful stuff indeed as he comes across the start-finish line. But there you go, 12 seconds left, 10 seconds left. You'll see with the AM drivers, they're more likely to actually keep going until the end of the session, even if they've run out of laps, because you usually only have 4 timed laps in a session. They are quite often out there pounding around just to try and get any bit of last-minute practice. So that's really interesting to see.
That is really good, Max. You just need your mental to be prepared that, okay, this is the race that I'm gonna do tonight, and there is a practice session even before the qualifying laps. But like Max said earlier, the last minute practice is needed for some of us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I try and make as many laps as possible out there right now. Nowadays I'm into the IRO 4 series cars, another great championship run under iRacing. One of the official championships there, and I find myself doing as many laps as humanly possible before I get to a race, because it can get quite intense, shall we say.
It's correct. It's intense and it's sweaty.
Oh yeah.
And you can feel your adrenaline really pumped when you got into the race.
Absolutely.
And this is the official race where you have cash prize.
Indeed, the not only just the cash prize, but the basically the bragging rights, if you will, or the the extra cachet of winning an official championship or a major tournament such as this. So now we see James Russell on pole position. This is going to be a standing start for the drivers there right now, and we can see that James Russell is on pole position with Zainal Hazim in second, Francis Petrillo in third, Muhammad Shukran in fourth, Han An in fifth place, Sharil Norafuddin in sixth, Muhammad Uzair in seventh, Shami Aizan in eighth, Muazzam Zairi in ninth, and Aldo Ray Balagulan in 10th place. I nearly fell out of my seat there. In the meantime, we've got the 5 red lights going on, and away we go. A lot of wheel spin there from the standing start that these touring cars have. Very dramatic stuff there. We've got cars going 5 wide, 6 wide, further back behind the field there, but it looks like James Russell's managed to get through. Zainal Hazim in second, Francis Petrillo in third. A lot of cars going through turn 1 there. Unbelievably, it looks like they've all made it through turn 1. Unbelievable stuff. They've gone 2 wide through a corner that's really only meant to go 1 wide through, and unbelievable stuff there. Hanan managing to get himself up to 5th place there. Leung Mun Fai making moves there at turn 2. A few cars getting a little bit ragged further back behind the field there. Meanwhile, Muhammad Shukran there is fighting with Han An trying to look for a position. Is he going to go on the inside? Is he going to go on the outside? He's going to go and try and do something around the outside of the hairpin. Hard on the brakes there. This is absolutely epic stuff. There's a double overtake, a triple overtake. A couple of cars going 2 wide, coming around the outside there. Oh, and James has been spun. James Russell's been spun there, and he's stuck in the middle of the track there. He can do nothing but wait for all the cars to come around there. There's another incident behind there, and that looks like Abdul Hakim from Brunei and Wong Jian, who's spun around. Unbelievable stuff there, and that is very, very unlucky for James Russell. All ahead there, and unfortunately a couple of cars got into the back of him coming through the hairpin there. Big drama for all those drivers. He's going to try and fight his way up through the field. We know how quick he can be, but it's going to be a real tough ask there from James Russell. Meanwhile, Zainal Hazim is in first position, Muhammad Sukrat in second, and Han An in third, with Muhammad Uzair in 4th place and Muazzam Zair in 5th place. But Muazzam's gone in around the inside. He is managing to try and get ahead, and that is it. Gascon in 4th position. Print the newspapers now, lady. He's going to say, coming around the corner there. That's a brilliant start there from Muazzam. And again, another newcomer into sim racing. Into iRacing. I do apologize. He's been sim racing in AC for quite some time there. But again, another newcomer to iRacing. But he's made a big splash coming into this touring car race.
There you go, Max. A brilliant, like Max says, it was a brilliant overtaking maneuver done by Muazzam there. And I would like to tell you guys this. This is how the TCR looks like with Muhammad Shukran and Muazzam Zairi. No.
With Han An, I believe that is.
Yeah, Han An and Muhammad Shukran is actually fighting for the 2nd position. There you go, Han An are trying to get passed by Muhammad Shukran. Right now driving in Hyundai. Oh, taking from the inside. He managed to do it.
Meanwhile, behind there's a little bit more drama as a couple of cars knock into each other. They all had to slow down because of the overtaking maneuver between Han An and Muhammad Shukran, and that was a 3 wide going through the corner there. Muazzam really in a tricky situation at the moment there. Meanwhile, Shami Aizan is right behind there. This whole battle in 7th position. Muazzam sends it over the curbs as he goes through the Mercedes-Benz arena right now, coming out of the arena and coming into the Motordrome section. And that's William Wong William Wong backwards going through. I believe that's the Mercedes-Benz Arena again. Unbelievable stuff there. That's a big spin there, but he's still managed to keep that car going. Luckily, these guys are made of some stern stuff to be able to take this amount of punishment. Malvinderjit Singh right now, he's up in 7th place. Let's have a look at William Wong going through the high-speed entry to Mercedes-Benz Arena. Hard on the brakes there. Oh, he's just clipped the other car there. That's going to be a fairly violent impact there. I think he's going to have to head into the pits to fix that one.
I think he's been using a single monitor, Max, so he can't look behind. That's going to be a big issue for him. But nevertheless, now we are with Reynaldi Edo, who was driving a Hyundai. Also a Hyundai. We see a lot of Hyundai today.
Absolutely. He's driving the saloon car, the Hyundai Elantra, coming around the curves there. And beautiful car. This is in fact the American specification car that's used in the Pirelli World Challenge in the TCR category in that series. Hyundai have a two-pronged attack. They have the saloon car, the Hyundai Elantra, and you have the Hyundai Veloster that you see here, which is more of what you would find racing around in Europe nowadays. So a lot shorter bodywork going through them. This is, meanwhile, Jensen Chu and Jasri Junos and Jensen Chu? Abdullah Hakim and Jensen Chu. I do apologize there. That's Abdul Hakim in the Hyundai. They're both drivers I know driving Hyundai, so I had to look there for a split second. Ronaldo Edo is in 13th place and really throwing the car around. That's a lot of curve going through the Mercedes-Benz Arena, but it's worked. It's actually helped him keep close to the battle up ahead, which, well, let me just look at the screen there. Everybody is in the battle for that position there. Let's have a look at this replay, and it looks like Zainal Hazim, James Russell, and quite a few other drivers there got involved in that tangle. There is not enough space to put that many touring cars around that corner. And there's another impact there. I believe that was with Abdul Hakim there.
Hakim, yeah.
Further around the corner there. So it's been a very messy start to the Trumpet International Racing E-Series AM Championship.
But that's happened a lot in TCR races, Max. We have seen that in many WTCR series, I would say. So now it happened again in Tires series. And now we are with Shamir Aizan, who's a driver from Hyperbulls. And behind him also a driver from Hyperbulls.
Yeah, it looks like the two Hyperbull Hondas of Shamir Aizan and Malvinderjit Singh trying to chase after Sharil Norafuddin. I do apologize. There's so much things happening on the screen. I have to untie my tongue in order to try and get this through. But it looks like Han An is trying to go around the outside. That's a brave maneuver there between Zainal Hazim and Han An. Hard on the throttle there. It looks like Han might be able to get the drag out of the straight there. And Han An from South Korea manages to take first position from Zainal Hazim. Meanwhile, there's another overtake there. Rinaldi Edo is going for 12th position, side by side, coming down towards the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Let's see if he can actually get the position. He's got the apex coming through the corner there, but they're still side by side. Unbelievable driving there. They managed to go through there at full throttle, but it looks like Rinaldi Edo has managed to keep that car just around the outside now this time. Rinaldi Edo from Indonesia just about managing to slot that car back underneath Wan Lee Kui. He almost had that overtaking maneuver done, but I think this battle is going to go on for quite some time coming through the Motordrome section here.
Max, this has been the middle field battle for Adrenaline Impact, and I would say that we have seen more than 3 times overtaking maneuver done by Rinaldi Edo from the first lap. Oh, there you go, James Russell with Wong Jian, I think.
Yeah, that was Wong Jian that he went past there, and he's now up looking for Jeffrey Conn. You can see how much faster he is through this section there. He's keeping that car very nice and tight through the corners there. You can see he had the pace in qualifying. He was the only driver in the 148s throughout the course of the race here. So now he's just really tossed the car sideways there. Ladies and gentlemen, do I hear rally driver? That's a fantastic entry through that corner there. I'm amazed that he didn't spin it, but James Russell using all of his technique and then some to try and get the car around there. I didn't know you had handbrakes, eh?
That was actually a good save by James Russell over there.
Oh yeah, we rally drivers might not be able to win the World Championship in Formula 1, but we can have loads of car control there, I can tell you that much for free. And meanwhile, Muazzam Zair, the Gascon, makes it another pass there, going through the corners, a little bit of door banging, but he manages to make it through. Beautiful stuff through the S's. That is not a place I'd expect you to be able to overtake because it's super narrow. It's the narrowest part of the track there. You can barely fit 2 cars through there, but he's managed to do it. Fantastic stuff there from Muazzam Zairi. He's up into 5th place there, and he's ahead of Sharil Norafuddin right now. Meanwhile, Rinaldi Edo still trying to look for a way past Wan Li Kui, but now Muhammad Mohaimin is going to start thinking about overtaking Rinaldi Edo, and Leong Mun Fai is going to be thinking about overtaking Muhammad Mohaimin. So this battle in the midfield there is going to get real messy real soon if they don't sort themselves out quick.
No, they have to make decision what they want to do.
Yep.
Especially people in front of Leong Mun Fai right now, which is Muhammad Mohaimin, I think.
Let's have a look at Leong Mun Fai's steering inputs there. Fantastic stuff to be able to see the actual steering inputs that are going into the car from our driver Cam there. He's actually using a formula wheel as he goes through there. He gives us a big thumbs up. He's enjoying this race there. Leong Mun Fai absolutely having a whale of the time, and you can see why he's in this midfield battle there. Brilliant stuff from the veteran racer there, really pushing the car hard, coming up, looking for that braking zone there. Will he be able to try and catch up the gap to the car up ahead? Hard on the brakes there, really positive turn in through there, a little bit too wide on the apex, but he's managed to keep the speed through there. Leong Mun Fai is going to keep going towards that pack, I could definitely assure you of that. Leong Mun Fai in 14th position, having the time of his life.
You know, Max, with this car you can go full on aggressive, but the problem with this car is it doesn't have that much of a downforce, so you might have a lot less downforce when it comes to braking, when it comes to turn, a tight turn like this. Oh,
that's really closed it up now. I think that was Rinaldi Edo and the Audi of Leong Mun Fai there. And Muhammad Mohaimin there. Rinaldi Edo and Muhammad Mohaimin getting a little bit close to each other. Meanwhile, Shami Aizan still with the battle between himself and Malvinder Jitsing. They may be teammates, but they do love having a bit of a battle between each other there. And this is absolutely fantastic stuff. Shami Aizan having a look, but deciding to duck in behind Malvinder Jitsing. They're not going to race each other as hard as they'll race the other drivers, but they're definitely going to try their hardest. Meanwhile, lap 1 incident between car 712 and car 16 is under investigation. So is the report from race control, and that could be for the first lap incidents there, one of the first lap incidents there. Meanwhile, James Russell, number 16, right now, he's got another overtake in the books. That is classic, coming through the motordrome section there, just carrying enough speed going through there, and beautifully done. Meanwhile, he's really pushing hard now. He's up into 16th place. He wants to get that car up into the points paid positions. Trust you me. They've only got 45 minutes, and he's got a load more cars to overtake. So this is going to be really challenging.
You know, in these AM races, we do see a lot more action, a lot more aggressive overtake that have been done by our driver. This is why we say that this car is very forgiving, but at the same time, the driver is not forgiving.
Oh, this is so close. You know how I say that you can read the serial number on the rear wing or the rear bumper of the car? Now you can read the serial number on the rear window pane of the car ahead of you. Shami Aizan and Mavinder Jitsing with a little bit of bump drafting, a bit of something they took from the oval races, I'm sure. But that was quite cute there. Leong Mun Fai there battling with Rinaldi Edo, and it looks like Rinaldi still not able to look for a way past Leong Mun Fai. He's done a fantastic job defending so far, and even though he's defending there, he's actually managed to catch up with Muhammad Mohaimin right now. We're looking on board on the rear view vision camera of Muhammad Mohaimin as he dives through the Mercedes-Benz arena. You can see there Wan Li Kui getting very close to the back of Mohaimin. This two-way battle for 10th place, for 11th place, might just turn into a three-way battle for 11th place. Now remember, only the top 10 will get points for this race, so it's going to be very challenging for them to try and get anything done. Meanwhile, James Russell is up into 15th position, so he might end up joining this battle before long.
There you go. We will see how James Russell overtake. I don't know who's that. Because they got no name there, so I don't know who's that.
That was Alif.
Oh,
Alif Shaki. So it looks like he just gave that position up there. I think he knew that James Russell was coming a lot faster than he expected. So perhaps the wise decision, if you know that someone very fast is behind you, is to let them pass and try and follow them as well, and try and get the advantage of having a faster car ahead of you, because that does matter. It is an aerodynamic form of racing, touring car racing, and it's all about the draft. There's not a lot of downforce. In fact, the rear wings on these cars are really only there to adjust the balance of the car. It doesn't actually improve the downforce that much. Leung Fai, meanwhile, has he finally managed to find a way ahead of that Audi? Yes, he has. A beautiful outbraking maneuver there, but that Audi's got a lot of traction. I suppose it's fairly apropos of the brand there, and so now Leung Fai has to do it all over again, and he's managed to get past there. Rinaldi Edo has taken advantage. They're going to go 3 wide coming down towards the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Both the Audi and the Hyundai managing to get through. Rinaldi Edo, he's managed to get through on the inside there. Will he be able to make it a double overtake? He's around the outside there. They touch. Rinaldi goes wide. Both of the other cars have slowed down, but Rinaldi Edo managing to get past. What a move! That was a double overtake, 3 wide coming into the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Unbelievable maneuver there. Rinaldi Edo kept his foot flat on the throttle as he was being knocked off the track. Unbelievable stuff there. Incredible.
There you go, Max. James Russell is actually behind them right now.
He would have just seen that.
Yeah. He was like, okay, this is my time. You know, I think he's in it for the aggressive overtake just now.
Absolutely. He had a grandstand view of what was happening up ahead, and I know what James Russell will be thinking. He'll be thinking, bring it on. Come on, let's have some more fighting, because the more times you fight and the less times you are working together, the slower you are. Whenever you try and battle for positions, naturally you're putting the car on an unoptimal side of the track there. Just now we just saw a quick view of the 2 Hyperbulls cars working together, and that's what you have to do. Meanwhile, that's Alif Shauki going around the outside. Does he make it work? What a move. Majestic. Absolutely majestic. And that was incredible stuff there to go around the outside at turn 1, Suds curve. Again, I've been saying that corner only has one racing line. The TCRs are proving me wrong.
One racing line for the GTR. For the GT3, sorry. But for TCR, there's no such thing as racing line. I go here and there, I overtake here and there. I don't care. That is what happened with TCR, bro.
So now we have Shami Aizan and Malvinder Chit Singh of Hyperbulls, and those 2 drivers have been working as a team, in fact bump drafting each other on the straight. That's what happens when you're working together with another driver, not just teammates, but sometimes you'll see rival drivers doing the same thing to try and catch up ahead. But now there's another 2 cars behind him. Behind Malvinder Chit Singh and Shami Aizan is Francis Petrillo and Aldo Rey Balagalan, the Filipino team, who are now getting very close behind there. So this is the battle of the teams here. 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th places, the lower order of the points there. And now let's have a look at James Russell coming down. Is he going to go around the outside of the Mercedes-Benz Arena? This is a replay. Fantastic stuff there. Managing to just squeeze in. Unbelievable driving there from James Russell. That is a man on a mission.
So James Russell, our first pole position qualifier just now is on the mission. He has been up since the I think 20 something position.
Yep.
And right now he's in 14th position.
Unbelievable overtaking maneuver there. That was Francis Petrillo. We did not expect that to happen. I was busy listening to Budi there, but I just noticed on the corner of my eye, let's have a look at that instant replay. He had it side by side coming through this corner. How smooth is that? Ooh, just a little bit of a touch though. I think the Hyperbulls driver didn't realize that he was going to go out that wide, but that was almost a copy of what Imad Danish was trying to do in the pro race earlier on today.
There you go. Another good and brave maneuver by our racer in TCR. And this is what we say in the TCR. Everybody will start to move bravely because of how forgiving this car is, Max.
Absolutely. We have Aldo Rey Balagalan, one of the fiercest competitors in touring car racing. and he's proved himself to be a very fierce driver in our AC events as well as our iRacing events as well. And you can see he's definitely trying to pile on the pressure to Samir Aizan right now. The battle between the Malaysian team and the Filipino team is absolutely building quite a lot through here. You can see there, Aldo Balagulan, the battle is on.
So now this two-team battle has been on for quite some time, I think. And here he goes, James Russell now trying to get Renaldi Edo in front with 0.3 gap between him and Renaldi Edo. Will he make a move? No.
Not
yet.
Quite. Not quite. He's close. He's very close. He's going to try and go on to turn 1. Will he make it at turn 1 or will he back off and try and on turn 2? My guess is yes, he's backed off just a little bit in order to give himself some space. Oh, Rinaldi Edo is pushing that car as hard as it'll go. And I think Russell could probably see into the future just a little bit there if he had tried to go around the outside. Meanwhile, Mohammed Mohaimin's got a grandstand seat to this battle. Hard on the brakes there, coming out of the corner there. That Audi looks so good under acceleration. I have to say that, but the Hondas and the Hyundai really, especially the Elantra, really do look like very user-friendly cars to drive. So that could be something in their favor, especially in the turn-in phase when they actually brake and start to turn into the corner there. Let's see if James Russell can do anything here. What? That is coming from a long way back, but he's managed to claim the apex there. The car was dancing under the brakes. Beautiful move there from James Russell. He's now up into 12th place. Ladies and gentlemen, the mission is still ongoing. Plan B is really hotting up.
There you go, James Russell now on the 12th position. He really on the move right now, Max, and he is trying to get one Lee Kui in front with the gap of 5 seconds. That's a big gap, but he can see that. He can see that, Max. He can see one Lee Kui there. I think he.
And look at that. That's Muhammad Uzair battling right now with Muhammad Shukran and Muazzam Zaire, who had a really close battle there. You can see that Uzair is flashing his lights there, and Muhammad Uzair has a fantastic sense of humor. And we've seen that in the WhatsApp groups and in all the chats that we've had with him over the course of the years. But that's a brilliant stuff indeed. Car 712, meanwhile, from race control has been reported dived in on the inside and caused collision with car 16. 3 points at a drive-through penalty for car 712. So that is I think the first penalty from race control today, and that's going to be very unfortunate for car 712 there. But meanwhile, Muazzam Zaire and Muhammad Uzair, that's going to be quite difficult for me to pronounce, being white, unfortunately. But Muazzam and Uzair, let's stick with that. Really doing very well in this championship right now. Very close to the back of Muhammad Shukran right now. This is a battle for podium position, and it has 4 cars in it. Let's have a look at Fred Ting, meanwhile. Car number 333 jumping into the apex there, leaving that Audi out to dry, but is it going to work for him? No. Afif Shawki managing to keep himself up into that position there, but Fred Ting is going to keep trying. He's very close there. Let's see if he manages to make it through this. Again, a fairly long replay here, but a fairly long battle between these two drivers. Fred Ting coming into the braking zone there. Afif going on the inside, Fred Ting around the outside. Does he try and go for the switchback maneuver? No, that's a fantastic move there. That's brilliant defending from Alif.
There you go. Muhammad Uzair is actually back to back with Muhammad Shukran right now, Max, and
they're going into the pits. So that's Sharon Norafuddin and Muhammad Uzair, who's jumped into the pits there. And I believe this is the start of the pit stops. 22 minutes, a little bit early from my taste, but perhaps they're going to short their first stint and try and go long on the second stint.
I would say, he trying to make a move, and suddenly he go to pit.
But here's a man who is trying to make a move. That's Muazzam Zairi for 3rd place. Is he going to make it? He hangs that Audi out to dry around the outside, but he's not quite able to do it. Muazzam Zairi still in 4th place. Muhammad Shukran in 3rd. If Muazzam can get 3rd position, if Gaskin can get into 3rd place on his first major iRacing race, and even if he can hold it for a while, I think his fans are going to go wild.
Oh, that is one TCR move there, Max.
Yeah.
That is one TCR move there. Now we see Aldo Balagulan trying to make a move between him and Shami Aizan in front. Is he gonna make it? I think so. We are waiting for this braking position. Oh, that was a good maneuver by Shami Aizan. And overtaking Hawk.
Brilliant stuff there from Shami Aizan. He took a racing line that I think none of us thought of. We've been sim racing for a long time, and we have not seen that. I've never tried that in the sim, not even by accident, but that made it work. Somehow Shami Aizan has made it work. Meanwhile, Wan Lee Kui is right all over the back of Aldo Ray Balagulan. This is a three-way battle. This touring car stuff is absolutely fantastic. Two-way battles, three-way battles. Cheryl Nurafudin throwing it on the inside, coming through the corner there. And wow, that was fantastic stuff. Leung Mun Fai, to his credit, did give a lot of space there for Cheryl Nurafudin. There was a little bit of working together there between those two drivers, but Cheryl Nurafudin managing to make it work. Meanwhile, the race leader Han An is in the pits. In fact, the top four are in the pits. Han An, Zainal Hazim, Muhammad Shukran, and Muazzam Zaire are in the pits right now. Again, we have pit lane battle at this point there. A lot of the drivers have come in. In fact, I even see James Russell coming into the pits there. 24 minutes have passed in this 45-minute race, and everyone's coming in virtually at the same time.
So this is maybe the time they will fuel up, or maybe they will change the tires. We don't know yet how long there's going to be on the pit. But there you go, Muhammad Shukran going out of the pit. Muazzam Zairi and Hanol and Zainul also getting out of the pit. Now you see Mavina Jade is on the pit exit, and he is on the 7th position.
But yeah, they were so eager to try and overtake there that I think a couple of the drivers even went over the white line, which you're not supposed to do, but we'll see how that goes. And Muazzam Zairi getting very racy coming out of the pits there, and that's gone side by side there. I believe that's Shukran on the outside of that corner there. Meanwhile, Cheryl Nurafudin's got a grandstand seat to this overtaking maneuver. Let's ride on board with Cheryl Nurafudin coming into this braking zone here. We've got Muazzam Zairi on the outside, Muhammad Shukran on the inside. Shukran dives down deep into the braking zone there. He outbrakes himself, and Muazzam almost tries to overtake there, but Cheryl Nurafudin tries to overtake as well. They touch, and Muazzam managing to keep the car off the barriers. How he kept the car off the barriers, I have no idea, but that was some crazy overtaking there. Oh, a little bit of contact there from James Russell trying to overtake, I believe that is Wan Lee Kui there, and just about managed to make that move work. Let's have a look at that instant replay. Coming around into the apex there, he manages to get the car ahead there, but a little bit of contact between himself and Wan Lee Kui. They both ended up still side by side coming out of that, but James Russell managing to claim the apex coming into the Mercedes-Benz arena. Absolutely incredible racing all up and down the leaderboard. Now with fresh tires, now with fresh fuel, these guys are racing like it's a 2-lap race.
There you go, James Russell now on the 9th place. Shari Nurafudin behind Muhammad Shukran with 3/10 of a gap. And that's gonna be another man of the mission for today, because he is actually fighting. They are actually fighting for position right here, Max.
And now Muazzam Zaire, definitely man of the match there. Driver of the day in my books. In 7th position, coming into the pits there. I think he's made himself an absolute hero for all the AC warriors there, out there trying out Assetto Corsa and trying to make it work there. Gaskun, as he's known to his fans on his streaming page, I'm sure his fans are going absolutely crazy. But he did, in fact, come across the white line on the exit of the pits, which is why he's gone back into the pits there to serve that penalty. Unfortunate for him, but I think the race is still long enough for him to try and make something happen there. But well, he's had a fantastic race up until that point.
You can see that this car can eat that curb and sausage with no problem, Max.
Yeah.
It's jumping all over the place. Now Abdul Hakim is trying to get Jeffrey Khan, I guess, in front of him. Both of them are driver from Brunei. I think both of them are main machine driver.
Yep. Jeffrey Khan and Abdul Hakim. I do believe they're both Mean Machine sim racing team members. But in this championship, there is no Mean Machine sim racing team. They're going to be fighting it out. This is the battle for Brunei. Jeffrey Khan and Abdul Hakim, 15th and 16th position, braking hard on the brakes there. Let's see if Abdul Hakim can do anything here. Beautifully done. Claims the apex. And it looks like Jeffrey Khan's trying to make that same weird line that Cheryl Nurafuddin took earlier to try and defend. And it hasn't really helped it out. He's dropped one position, but he's managed to gain a load of speed coming through there. Meanwhile, James Russell is in 8th place, and it looks like it might be 7th fairly soon. Shami Aizan, a very, very quick driver in his own right, but he's being hassled by Russell here coming through the final two corners. Let's see if he can get it on the inside. He's managed to claim the apex. They're going to go side by side towards the Suds curve. This is very tricky stuff indeed. Let's hope he can get through, and yes, he has. James Russell moves up into 7th place. That must be comeback of the season. I know it's a fairly young season, it's only the first race, but that's pretty impressive stuff to go from last place to 7th.
Max, this car was made for James Russell, I think.
Yeah.
He drives and he takes lines that is so aggressive that everybody else doesn't have the guts to take that line.
Yeah.
That kind of things, you know?
Absolutely. I guess this Audi must be sort of reminding him of the old GC8 Subaru Impreza that he made his name in all those years ago. And interestingly enough, Audi, another brand tied into rallying, so perhaps a little bit of a feeling, extra feeling through there, perhaps. Let's have a look at this instant replay. James Russell going through around the final corner there, and he's just beautiful, beautiful stuff there. He should not have been able to get the drive out of the car coming out of that from that angle, but he's managed to make it work. He's managed to push the Hyperbols car out wide, and he's managed to really claim the Suds Life apex, the Suds curve apex, well in advance. And that's super important when you're trying to overtake. You can't overtake in the corner itself there. You have to make sure you get past in order to get through. But that's absolutely brilliant racing.
And this car was actually made for road car,
Yeah.
and it is tuned to be a race car. So it's not that easy to maneuver this kind of car actually, Max, and to get out all of the power.
Absolutely. The TCR series, a replacement for the Super 2000 championship regulations, and definitely a very fair indicator of the modern day hot hatch 2-litre turbo front wheel drive, and definitely a car that's very relevant to what's being driven on the road there. But with the nice arches, the custom made suspension, and a little bit of aero, they really do look quite mean there. They remind me of like a WRC car on the touring car, WRC car on the circuit. Really cool stuff indeed. Speaking of cool, Cheryl Nurafuddin, cool as a cucumber throughout this entire race there, and now he's sizing it up. Can he actually get past Mohaimin? Finally, I do believe that's Shukran actually up ahead. I do apologize, but that's Shukran up ahead, and it looks like he might be able to try something through these corners here. It's actually getting closer and closer through there. Just looking at the gaps there, it's 0.4 of a second, and with these cars you could really try something from 0.4. You want to be between 3 and 0.2 of a second between the car ahead and the car behind for you to try and make an overtaking maneuver there. But I have seen overtaking maneuvers happen from further back.
You know, Max, that Shari Nurafuddin, Mohammad Shukran and Uze was actually fighting for the 3rd position for the podium right now.
Yeah.
And they have been battling since the past 4 to 5 laps, I think. And Shari Nurafuddin has not been moved an inch from the position.
Absolutely. He's going to try and get further up the leaderboard there. Muhammad Uzair, meanwhile, fantastic stuff from him to be in 3rd place. Let's just run through the leaderboard there with about 13 minutes left on the race. Han An in 1st place with Zainal Hazim in 2nd, Muhammad Uzair in 3rd, Muhammad Shukran in 4th, Sharil Nurafuddin in 5th, followed by Malvinderjit Singh, James Russell, Shami Aizan, Aldo Ray Balagulan, and Muhammad Mohaimin in 10th place. So brilliant stuff from all these drivers there. Virtually everyone apart from Hazim, Muhammad Shukran and Shami Aizan. Those are the only drivers that actually are still in their starting grid positions. Everyone else has had position changes there. Everyone has had their pit stops apart from Jasri Junas, who's unfortunately out of the race there. But Han An there in first place, Zainal Hazim in second, Muhammad Azaya in third, Muhammad Shukran in fourth. And this battle between Uzaya Shukran and Sharil Norafuddin still going on. They're still very close to each other. This is very tense stuff. This is high-speed chess at this point in time.
And this is gonna be battle of the day, Max. This is gonna be battle of the day. They have 13 minutes 12 minutes left right now, and they are fighting for the podium. And Muhammad Shukran trying to get in front of him with Muhammad Uzay, and Sharil Norafuddin trying to get Muhammad Shukran. Now Muhammad Shukran need to defend and need to overtake. So Muhammad Shukran need to choose.
Meanwhile, while all of you guys, all of us are waiting for what his choice is going to be between attacking and defending, we do have a choice for driver of the day. It's been whittled down to James Russell, Han An, Zaino, and Shukran.
Ooh.
Oh, big impact there for Abdul Hakim. How did he save that? It looked like the car grew four-wheel drive when he caught that there. Let's have a look at that instant replay. He comes flying through into the Mercedes-Benz arena, has a great run in there, but he gets squeezed out a little bit. He gets onto the curb, spits the car sideways. No worries there. He'll just keep going. Thank you very much.
I was like, okay, I'm just showing something to you guys. Okay, let's go. And he managed to continue his race without any damage on his car.
Yeah, and he's only lost one position there, so that's pretty good.
Now Shukran is trying to make a move between Shukran and Muhammad Uzay. Will he made it? Yes.
No. Yes.
No. Yeah.
Yes,
No.
Yes. No.
Yeah, no.
Yes. No.
Yes, no. that was actually.
Bit of a roller coaster emotionally, but we got there in the end. Muhammad Shukran there, still looking for a way around Uzair. The first attempt didn't quite work there. Sharil Norafuddin's very close behind. If Shukran doesn't do anything to the car ahead of him, he's going to get mugged.
This is what Shukran facing right now. A full mental strength needed to finish this race actually, Max. What do I need to do? Do I need to defend or I need to be aggressive just like now? But just now what happened when he do the attacking maneuver, Sharil Norafuddin actually have an advantage to go further, Max.
Meanwhile, a little bit of a clumsy maneuver through there. Let's have a look at the instant replay between Jeffrey Con and Alif there, coming down towards the hairpin. Let's have a quick look through the corner here. That's Muhammad Alif Shauki coming through around the corner there. It looks like he just parked it on the apex, turned it around, and there you go. I'm still ahead. That didn't look physically possible. I think he might have broken physics there, but he's still ahead somehow. But it looks like he's being challenged very hard by Jeffrey Codd, diving up on the inside there. That's a brave maneuver through the Motordrome complex. But he's managed to keep himself side by side. We couldn't even see it ahead of us. Could see it behind us, right in our blind spots there, going around the Bosch curve. Oh, you can see how close they are. They have to be trading paints through the S's there. But it looks like Muhammad Alif Shauki there doing a fantastic job to hang on to that car. This is the battle for 14th place, but it looks like the battle for the win in a World Touring Car Series race there, diving up towards the first corner there. Will he finally have to give second best? He's got to turn in the big Schumacher style chop across the front of Jeffrey Con there, and meanwhile another car has gone past there, and that I believe is Alif Hakim.
The Abdul Hakim.
Abdul Hakim, sorry.
Hakim. We got so many Alif Abdul. And there you go, Abdul Hakim.
There's so much action out on track there that I'm starting to lose my place there a little bit there. But Abdul Hakim, he's just managed to mug two drivers while we were trying to untie my tongue there for a second there. But that was a fantastic run from Abdul Hakim, managing to get himself up towards that place there, coming down towards the braking zone there. Oh, look at that. It looks like Alif Shauki is going to try again, but the switchback from Abdul Hakim, fantastic stuff. They're going to go side by side, coming towards the Mercedes-Benz arena, and it looks like Alif Shauki has just managed to keep himself ahead. Jeffrey Conn, meanwhile, he looks like he might be looking in on the inside, but another driver has that idea, and that is fantastic stuff there. Abdul Hakim in 14th, Muhammad Alif Shauki in 15th, and Jeffrey Conn in 16th place.
Now, Jeffrey Conn definitely need to do something, Max, between him and Muhammad Alif Shauki on the 0.3 gap there. James Russell now trying to get Mavinder Jit Singh. Oh, it's so hard to pronounce his name. With 0.3 second behind, will he make a move? I think he will make a move on the second hairpin.
It looks like that's going to be the place for James Russell to try and get hold of it. He's a little bit further behind, but he's going to go for it anyways. Hard on the brakes there. Let's see if he can get around there. Malvinderjit Singh tries to make it work around the outside. Unable to do it. He cuts in a little bit too late, and that's a beautiful move there from James Russell, managing to get himself up into 6th position. Ladies and gentlemen, may I remind you that he had to literally stop, wait, and read a book while the entire field went past him on the first lap. And just about managed to get going again. He literally gave everyone a head start at that hairpin, but now he's in 6th position, and he is definitely making moves out there. He's only got 7 minutes left to try and get up towards this battle between Muhammad Uzair, Muhammad Shukran, and Sharil Norafuddin, which, remember, he actually got to the back of this just before the pit stops. But after the pit stops there, he had to move back a little bit. This battle moved towards the front after the pit stop shuffle. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes there. Ooh, Jeffrey Conn there trying to go on the inside again. Let's have a look at that. Jeffrey Conn coming in on the inside. That was Francis Petrillo of Veloce Ragazzo further behind. But let's see this little bump and run there. Jeffrey Conn. I'm not too sure what happened there. We might have to re-look at that again. That was really strange, but Jeffrey Conn appeared to have stopped after bumping in. Let's have another look at that replay.
We staggered on that. I was like, what?
So that's Alif Shauki up ahead. Wheelstar Racing driver there. Comes into the corner there, a little bit slow, and Jeffrey Conn just stops after bumping into the back of Alif Shauki. That is very strange there. I'm not sure if physics might have been broken there a little bit for a second there, but that was a very strange impact there.
Now Aldo Balagulan, he's trying to get Shami Aizan in front with 0.1 gap, and I think he's gonna make his move here. Will he do it? But we got another driver in front of him. Is that
Melvin or Uzair? Shamir.
Oh.
Shamir Aizan there. Ooh, a little bit of contact between Aldo and Shamir Aizan there, and I believe that's a.
Is it a traffic?
I believe that is traffic up ahead. That might actually be Muazzam Zaire. Looks like Muazzam's car. Do apologize if I'm mistaken there. But Aldo Ray Balagulan with Aizan right in front of them, Shamir Aizan, and I think these two guys have been pretty much stuck together since that team battle that they had between Veloce Ragazzo and Hyperbulls earlier on in the race. They're still together after all those laps.
I think they managed to be a couple after this. Okay, let's stick together the whole race. Then we just battle together lah. And that will happen now. Muhammad Shukran and Muhammad Uzai, they are still fighting, Max.
With Sharil Norafuddin still there, and he's going to go around the outside. Is this the time for Sharil Norafuddin to try and make a move stick? He's going to have to go around the outside. Will he be able to do it? He's managed to keep that car really tight in on the inside, but he's unable to claim that second apex. And Muhammad Shukran still ahead, but that bit of defensive maneuver has given Uzair just the slightest bit of breathing room right now. But looks like Sharil Norafuddin is going to have a look around the inside and around the outside. Coming around the bend, hard on the brakes there, and it looks like Sharil Norafuddin is going to try and go around the outside. Not able to do it around the outside. Will he try on the inside? He's got another overtaking opportunity up ahead in the Mercedes-Benz arena, and it looks like he might be able to try and have a look there. James Russell is right behind. He's only 7 seconds behind there. Only 3 minutes left in the race. But of course, anything can happen. So he's just going to have to keep in it and keep trying to push. Aldo Ray Balagulan trying to make a move work here. But it looks like Shamir Aizan managing to defend there. Beautiful stuff using the inside of the racetrack there. But Aldo looking on the inside, coming into the Mercedes-Benz arena, coming through that flat-out corner, hard on the brakes here. Will he try and look for it on the inside? No, unable to do so. It looks like he's going to have to look for one more lap. I believe there might only be 2 laps. We might only see a lap 25 before we see the checkered flag.
You know, Max, this is a 45 minutes of races, but there's a lot of action happen there, here and there. Between James Russell, we have Muhammad Uzair, Muhammad Shukran, and now Aldo Balagulan and Syamil Aizan. There you go, Sharin Rafuddin and Muhammad Shukran is still fighting for position right over here. Actually, Muhammad Shukran is left behind by Uzi. There's quite a lot of the gap just now. So we have our driver of the day for tonight. It is okay, so the driver of the day is still on James Russell, Hanan, Zainul, and Muhammad Shukran. There's 4 gonna be on the polls.
Yep, that's going to be the guys that will be on the poll there. So do vote for your driver of the day between James Russell, Hanan, Zainul, and Shukran. I was just pointing to Shukran's name there to Budi, so I do apologize for that. But I was just saying that guy has been in that position for so long, and he's not able to get into that podium position. Muhammad Uzair is another driver there. Let's have a look. There is Aldo Balagula going to lose a position to Syamil Aizan. Yes, he is. What a smooth maneuver there. Not a hint of lockup, not a hint of anything else. That is the first, I think, textbook overtake at the hairpin. All of the others have been a little bit wild and ragged, and we even had that weird moment with Jeffrey Conn where physics decided to take a holiday for a split second. But coming through the corner there, it looks like Muhammad Muhaimin is right behind Aldo Balagulan again. This is fighting for points here. Only the top 10 will score points towards the Drivers' Championship here in the Trumpet International Racing E-Series. So every single step above 10th place is well worth having for the points, because we've seen championships that have been decided by 1 point, by 2 points. So it's really important to try and get this done here right now. Now 10 seconds left on the clock, and I believe this will be the white flag lap. But meanwhile, let's have a look at Muhammad Shukran trying to go in on the inside. Wow! Muhammad Uzair just managing to overspeed into the corner just a touch, just to make sure that there was no impact there. But these 3 drivers are very close to each other there. Tearing down the back straight here. Is Muhammad Shukran going to try and look for an overtaking maneuver on the inside here? It looks like... it looks like he's going to dive in on the inside. Muhammad Uzair is going to try around the outside there. And look at that. Shukran comes in on the inside. Uzair comes in on the outside. He goes very wide. They're going to go side by side coming towards the Mercedes-Benz arena. Absolutely flat out towards there. But Uzair is on the inside there. But it looks like Shukran's managed to get him around the outside. And Shahril Nurafuddin's going to try and attack Muhammad Uzair there. He's been in 3rd place for so long. He's been trying to keep that 3rd place position, but finally Shukran's managed to get himself up into 3rd position. Ladies and gentlemen, give a hand to perhaps the hardest working TCR driver today.
I would say he's a lot of sweat over there.
And just as we were doing that, Shahril Nurafuddin's also managed to overtake Muhammad Uzair. So that's very unfortunate for him. But what is fortunate for him is Hanan, who is going to take home 1st place and the first win of the AM category at the Trumpet International Racing E-Series. Hanan comes home in 1st position, Zainal Hazim in 2nd place, and Muhammad Shukran had to do absolutely everything to claim 3rd position. Shahril Nurafuddin in 4th place, and Muhammad Uzair will come home in 5th place. James Russell almost overtaking right at the line there. He almost caught up to that battle. Unbelievable drive there from James Russell. Malvinderjit Singh in 7th position. Syamil Aizan. Ooh, big impact there. They're really fighting towards there. That's Aldo Balagulan that we're looking at there. Syamil Aizan's going to come across the line there. It looks like Muhammad Muhaimin's managed to come across the line ahead of Aldo Balagulan. A little bit of bumping and grinding going on at the final corner of the race there. Meanwhile, it's not over yet. That's Jeffrey Kahn fighting with Muhammad Alif Shauki and Rinaldi Edo. This battle has been going on for a very long time, since the pit stops in fact. But let's see if Jeffrey Kahn can find a way around Alif Shauki, who's done a fantastic job there. Oh no, he's gone wide! He's gone wide! They have contact there. That's 2 wide, 3 wide! And that's Rinaldi Edo. That's Rinaldi Edo onto 2 wheels. That's a huge impact towards the end of the race there. But it looks like Rinaldi Edo is going to finish the race. Jeffrey Kahn in 16th. Wow, unbelievable stuff there. And it looks like Rinaldi Edo is going to come. Jeffrey Kahn's going to come across the line there. Rinaldi Edo comes home in 17th place, and Muazzam Zairi in 18th. And Muhammad Alif Shauki unfortunately has to finish his race in the pit lane. Let's have a look at that in instant replay. They tried to go 3 wide through the S's. Unbelievable stuff there.
Mac, this kind of stuff we can see in TCR, like in real TCR, but they won't drive away with that. But they drive away again, it is. And good to know that everybody managed to finish their race tonight. That was a brilliant race.
Unbelievable.
Max, you can see how many notes that I take.
Yes, we've had Buddy here keeping notes for our post-race show later on this week. But unbelievable stuff. I'm just gobsmacked. It's been one of the best races I've seen, and that final lap move there, I think not only are we going to be talking here, but I think all the Indonesians will be talking about Rinaldi Edo's move in through the S's there. You can say what you like about Rinaldi Edo, but one thing you can't say is that he is definitely not going to sit back and try to finish in whatever position. He's going to try and fight for every single spot out there. But that's not to take away from the absolutely flawless run from Han An, who's won in first position. Zainal Hazim in second place. Muhammad Shukran in third after that battle between themselves. Sharul Nurifuddin, who's fourth, and Muhammad Uzair in fifth place. James Russell was started from pole position, but he was all the way down to last place, having been punted around at the hairpin there, but he's managed to climb all the way back up to 6th place. What a brilliant drive from the Stratos Motorsports driver. Mavinderjit Singh in 7th, Shami Aizan is in 8th, Muhammad Mohaimin is in 9th, and Aldo Ray Balagulan in 10th place.
There you go. We got Fred Ting in 11, Liu Mung Fai in the 12th place, Wong Jian in the 13th place, and Abdul Hakim, which is at the 14th place, Francis Metrillo, Jeffrey Kahn, Rinaldi Edo, Muazzam Zairi, finish at the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th place.
Unbelievable stuff.
That was a lot of epic moves that have been done by all the drivers for tonight.
Yeah, that was... I have not seen a touring car race that exciting in a very long time, and I think that move by Rinaldi Edo at the end, it's almost had the same sort of feeling as if you remember Takuma Sato, the last lap of the Indy 500 a couple of years back, where he went for it, and it didn't work out well for him either. But that, I think, is going to be one of the most iconic images from this championship.
He's just, okay, send it. let's do this.
He literally saw the green flag and said, send it.
Send it. Let's do this. That is what happened.
Unbelievable stuff there. And I have to say, Rinaldi Edo did a fantastic job in that battle. Actually, all the drivers did a fantastic job throughout the race there. There was a couple of rough moments there. But meanwhile, we do have Driver of the Day results there, and it's Zainal Hazim. So congratulations, Zainal Hazim, for your Driver of the Day win on our poll there. Check out our polls whenever you watch us going live, because we like to do those little fun things there. But you definitely got the Fans' Choice Award there. Actually, he did do a brilliant race, I think.
Yeah, he's just great. Yeah. He managed to keep following Han An for quite some time, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And he kept Han An really honest there. I think the gap was only a couple of seconds at the end. So it was really right until the very end when he decided to consolidate his positions. But I remember looking at the halfway point of the race and thinking, wow, they're only 2 seconds apart. So this just goes to show touring car racing is very, very close.
I always say that this race has been a lot of action, drama, this and that, emotion, and that's a lot of things happen in one time for this race.
Unbelievable stuff indeed. But that's going to be it from us here at Hockenheim Ring. But let's have a look at the Red Bull Ring. 4th of April is going to be our next event, so do stay tuned for that. The Red Bull Ring, absolutely fantastic track. Again, another high-speed ring.
House of TCR, House of GT3.
Yep, absolutely. A lot of the best racing in those two series can be found at Red Bull Ring. Also, some of the best DTM races, as well as Formula One, MotoGP, and a whole host of other races here at the Red Bull Ring. It may only be about 4 kilometers long, but it's the best 4 kilometers in motorsports.
Okay, so we are going to move on the post-race show, which will happen on the next week, Tuesday.
Yes,
at,
absolutely.
At 9 p.m.
Yes.
So we see you guys there.
Absolutely. We're going to be able to catch up with all of the highlights from these two races, as well as some of the reactions and a few special guests and a few more special items as well. So do check us out on the post-race show where we can get all the lowdown, not only on the previous race but also the next race and the future of sim racing as well. So join me, Max Palmer, and Budi. Encik Budi I was going to say, but I was going to say Muhammad Budi for some reason. I've been twisted, turned around and shook up by this race so much that I've forgotten this man's name.
He has been reading a lot of names.
But anyways, that's going to be it. We're going to have a lot of fun at the post-race show, but I think we've had plenty of fun this time around at the first race of the Trumpet International e-racing series. The Tires Championship is going to be a fantastic one. So join us for the post-race show this Tuesday and for our next round at the Red Bull Ring on the 4th of April. And also a nice welcome back to iRacing from all of us here at Adrenaline Impact. It's been great. We've had our nice dalliances in Assetto Corsa, in AMS2, in Dirt Rally 2.0, but it's nice to get back to this sort of esports ready, very competitive platform.
Yeah.
So absolutely brilliant stuff indeed. But that's going to be all from us. A special thanks goes out to everyone who's here. Special thanks to our chief steward there in the room, along with our director Umar Aziz and our producer Khairul Alang. Special thanks goes out to all of our sponsors, LamboPlace Malaysia, the leading online platform here for e-commerce, as well as Stratus and Excitix, and special thanks to all the organisation, Trumpet International, Adrenaline Impact, and Vertex Esports, as well as our media partners Galeri Kereta and DS&F. Drive safe and fast. But that's going to be it from and our gaming chair. Our official gaming chair. This is wonderful Zohood.
Don't forget
unit.
this. Don't forget this.
So this wonderful Zohood unit. Absolutely brilliant stuff. It's transformed our job here. I think it's been super comfortable despite the over 2 hours.
2 hours of set, and we are good to go.
Oh yeah, we could do this for another 3 or 4 more hours. So thank you so much to Toda for improving our comfort with these wonderful official gaming chairs of the Adrenaline Impact and Vertex Esports for the year 2022. Well, that's going to be it. A special thanks to our in-house steward and our in-house studio staff, our producer Khairul Alang, our director Umar Aziz, as well as Encik Budi. Thanks for joining me in the studio. I've been Max Palmer. Thank you to all of you watching at home and to all the drivers. We'll see you all in the next race. Bye for now. Ta-ra.
siapa yang belum subscribe Galeri Kereta, boleh klik button kat bawah subscribe, dan kita jumpa lagi di next episode untuk kita apa lagi proses untuk KA30 ni. Okay, see you, bye bye, assalamualaikum.
LamboPlace